Hey, we've got a returning guest to the program. Just like the White House is gonna have a returning guest very soon. All right, one of the greats in our case. Uh, hey, I'm Daniel Ehrenberg. This is the franchise. We're covering The Thing today. The Thing from Another World from 1951. You've never seen it, but you saw a clip from it in Halloween once, I bet. And then there's the Thing from 1982 by John Carpenter, and also The Thing from 2011 because we don't know how to title movies anymore. Um, uh, Logan, what's going on?
Everything is going on. You're totally right. I never saw the thing until a couple days ago, but I'm excited to talk about it. And Daniel, here's the thing.
Oh,
That's all I got.
oh
Here's the
yeah,
thing.
that's
This is the
smart.
thing episode.
Yeah, that's great stuff. All right, we're firing on all cylinders already. We've
Hmm.
got a guest in studio today. Well, in his studio back at home. Uh, he's been on the show before. Uh, what episodes was he on? Weekend at Bernie's. I know that much. That's all I care about.
Predator, come on.
Predator. That's true. That too. But you'll remember him. His name is Aaron Farinelli. He worked at Barnes and Noble with Henry and I back in the day. That's how we know him. But way more importantly, now he's the drummer of the band Whale Fall, whose new record is out soon
It's
or out
out.
now.
Digitally, it's out now. We're doing pre-orders for records and CDs, which should be done not too distant future. But yeah. Hey
All right.
everyone.
Hey,
I say
I
I
want to.
I thought about listening to some Whale Falls stuff, but I didn't want to like become a fan and then not be able to function during the
Oh
episode.
my
So
God,
I
that's so
I put
funny.
it off a little bit. But I am gonna
Well,
definitely gonna check it out, honestly.
I'll say I listened to the new record,
Yeah.
and it's great, and it's very cinematic, and I think it's you know, it's apropos that we have you on this episode because Ennio Morricone did the score of The
Oh.
Thing, and it's a little bit like that. It's got some spaghetti western vibes at times.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a bit of an influence, and yeah, definitely our horn players influence as well. We try to throw in a little bit of that Morricone flavor.
Yeah, there's horn guys. All
What
right,
about Beltrami flavor? You got any of that in
fuck that
the
flavor.
album? No, none of
There
That
is
that.
a little
flavor
bit
is
of
like black licorice.
yeah. We do have a little bit of Carpenter flavor. There's some synths floating around in that too. So a
Oh well.
little bit of everything.
That's fair. Yeah. Um, I loved it. The Well Falls a great band, and I maybe I do feel a little intimidated to have you on now after having heard the new record.
Sorry for being so so intimidating.
Awesome.
I know, you're such a big name. Um, Aaron,
Are those the only episodes you did? Two episodes?
no, there's some horror ones, right?
I think I did four. I did Children of the Corn 3,
Oh, the best Children of
the
the
best
Corn.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I was kind of shocked that you didn't ask me back for Hellraiser 3 because that Hellraiser 3 is the Children of the Corn 3 of the Hellraiser series.
I could see it.
We did
Yeah,
realize we
it is
messed up.
urban.
We should have brought you in. We fucked up.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
right.
This was us making
Uh,
up for it, I think, actually.
That's true. Well, you might have been in China at the time,
That's
touring
correct.
for the record.
That's correct.
Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah, we in back in September, my band did a 2 week tour in China. We hit 8 different cities, 8 different shows, including one festival, and it's great. It's like thanks to the magic of the internet, we have a sizable following in China.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
pretty
dream,
great.
honestly. That's freaking awesome.
But you got
Yeah.
a little bit of a following everywhere. I Googled Whale Fall and I found people on the internet talking about them all over the place.
It's wild. Like we probably sell more records in Europe and Asia than we do in the US. It's kind of a weird phenomenon, but I'll take it. Hey
That's
man.
before this appearance on the franchise, and then I'm sure it'll even out
Oh,
the
you're going to
American
get the
audience.
franchise bump.
Yeah,
That's
you don't even know
true.
about the franchise bump yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You guys have video now, so people who have the video can see what I'm doing
Oh
He's
here.
yeah,
raising the roof.
they just
Yeah.
raised the roof. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Now, will Whale Fall be performing at Post Fest 24?
We were at Post Fest 23.
I know. And all the fans of Post Fest 23 want to know, will you be at Post Fest 24?
Well, no, because
Oh no.
that happened earlier this year. I think it was.
Oh, you
Yeah.
missed it.
Never mind, man. I found some shit on Reddit, some chatter, wondering if you'd be a...
Oh no! Any like you know any bad bad talk about us or any sort of gossip?
No, everyone loves you. People thought you were one of the best bands at Post Fest 23.
Wow, that's
they were
cool.
wondering if you'd be at 24, but I guess not.
Nope. Sorry, folks.
Do you think you'll ever get to the point where you can do your own Eras tour?
Oh
Like
my
that.
God.
At
Yeah.
some point, yeah.
Did you know that we're doing a Taylor Swift podcast?
Yeah. I have not heard it yet, but I've heard you guys talk about it.
All right. Now,
It's the best one.
no
we do.
vocals on the Whale record, but have you ever thought about maybe asking Taylor if she could write some lyrics for you guys?
Absolutely. Hey, Taylor, this is a shout out. I know you're a listener of the franchise,
Mhm.
so please hit us up if you want to do a guest spot. We would love to work with you.
What about Travis? Maybe if Travis Kelsey
a
offered
music
his
video.
lyric services.
Mm, I'd have to check with the band. It would be a definite yes from me, but maybe a hard pass from some of the other members.
Why?
Maybe we need to hear a
For
sample
different teams?
first.
Exactly, we'd have
Are
to
they
hear the
Bills
sample
fans
first.
or something?
No,
was that?
you're all out in LA. Are you Rams guys?
Yeah, definitely Dodgers fans, which we're doing all right now.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys.
I wasn't happy about that. All right. Let's talk about The Thing. All right. You suggested this, Aaron. What brought you to The Thing?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films. I guess spoilers for the rankings. And it's also weirdly like one of the earliest horror films that I have in memory. Not even from seeing it, but my dad, who's a little bit of an odd one, he used to use this movie as like a threat. Like if I was being bad, he's like, "I'm gonna make you watch The Thing," and he had described like the dogs like splitting open and like attacking people and stuff like that. So I imagined it being like the most monstrous, scary movie ever. And so he
Sort
used
of
to use that.
is.
Yeah. And then eventually I did see it. I'm like, it's not too far off. But yeah, when I was very young, my dad had a fucked up sense of humor and used to say, like, if you're not good, I'm gonna make you watch The Thing.
It genuinely explains a lot about you. Like
Is that how you saw it? Was he forced you, or you eventually watched it on your
No,
own?
I eventually like watched it like in probably like later elementary school. Some of my movie buddies like worked up the courage to finally watch it, and yeah, in some ways it wasn't as bad as I was imagining it was going to be. Because you know your brain can always concoct the most fucked up stuff, but in other ways it was way more fucked up than I expected it to be.
Well, you've
Yeah,
seen
of course.
everything fucked up at this point. That's your style. You turned me on to some fucked up shit back in the day.
That's right. Yeah, back in the Barnes and Noble days, it was like I was one of the couple people in charge of the cult movie section.
That's right. I forgot about the cult movie section.
The cult movie section that was Rob Zombie approved, by the way.
Wow.
Is that true?
Yeah,
really
one
cool.
day it was me and Alex. Alex was Halajan. I don't think he's been a guest on here before, but
No.
shout out Alex. We were allowed to curate the cult movie section, and one day we see Rob Zombie walking into the Barnes and Noble, and he immediately runs in the back room. He's like, "I'm too nervous. I don't want to talk to him." It's like, okay. And then I saw Rob Zombie go over to the cult section. I asked him, "Hey, can I help you find anything?" And he's like, "No, man, I'm good." "Hey, great section you got here." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And I
Wow.
walked back. I told Alex that, and he nearly had a heart attack. It was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, I
awesome.
can see that.
That's
So-
really cool.
Rob Zombie said not bad.
Great. Well, that's pretty much what I said about his movies on this podcast.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's true. Some of them you said were pretty bad.
Yeah, but some of them
Yeah.
are not bad. I liked
From Hell.
Devil's Rejects, great movie.
Yeah.
I sort of liked Halloween 2. Remember that?
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, all right. he's Rob Zombie's okay, but it's just that dialogue I bristle at. You fucking piece of horse shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was his wife with him?
Yeah. Did you
Um,
get to meet Sherry Moon?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think he was just by himself.
How do you
Okay.
not remember? You'd remember if
Yeah.
Sherry
Yeah,
Moon
yeah.
was there. You'd
If that's the
remember.
case, then no, she wasn't there. But like, yeah, you can't miss Rob Zombie. He looks exactly like you think he does in real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's like Tim Burton. He's like one of those
Yeah.
types. That looks
It's
Yeah.
like
exactly like you
imagine a
think.
dude who's digging through the ditches and burning through the witches. Uh, that's what he does in his spare time.
Mhm.
Hey, so the thing,
Here's the
98.
thing.
Do
I won't do
it.
that the whole time.
Keep
No,
doing
I
it.
won't do
Yeah,
it.
it's a classic bit. Let's start with the original, huh? I was watching this for the first time. I've seen the Carpenter version a bunch of times, but I don't know anybody that's seen this original one. And it's revered by like dudes from that era. Like John Carpenter says he thinks it's better than his version, and I'm like, fucking,
What?
you could be a little less humble.
Yeah,
Uh,
seriously.
but it's an interesting movie. It's about a carrot guy, a man of carrots, and he scares people, and he's played by the guy from Gunsmoke.
Okay, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, yep. But
It's a
the guy,
lot different though. There's not like the like who's the monster. That's not a part of the first movie.
it's
It's just
true.
it's just like an alien guy.
Yeah, it's based on a 1938 novella by John W. Campbell Jr. called "Who Goes There," and that version has all the paranoia stuff of the Carpenter version, but they don't use that in the
Hmm.
Christian Nyby version. Yeah, so this original, it's directed by Christian Nyby and written by Charles Lederer. Charles Lederer, we've actually weirdly covered on the show before because he wrote the original Ocean's 11.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But he's more known for screwball comedy shit. He did His Girl Friday and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which have amazing scripts. So, like, having known that, I was getting pretty excited for the movie, and then it wasn't so great in my opinion. But the director is this fellow Christian Nyby, who was like the editor, I think, for Howard Hawks,
Hmm.
and there's some discussion among fans of this movie who really directed it. It's like the
Oh,
Poltergeist, Toby Hooper, Steven Spielberg situation. Like it feels a little like a Spielberg movie, and he was on set a lot. So did he just fucking take over the thing? Who knows?
take over
This
the
was
thing. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So this was Christian Nyby's first movie, and he'd
Yeah.
only worked with Howard Hawks before, and this kind of has some Howard Hawks hallmarks. They call them Hawks marks.
Hmm.
So
And
what do you think? You have an opinion?
Well, it
Did
said
Hawks direct it?
on IMDb, it says, or the trivia section, so take it as with a grain of salt. It says on Howard Hawks' like deathbed, he admitted that he directed it, but
Oh my
then
God.
there were people on set saying that it was Christian who directed it for the most part. But I'm sure that if Howard Hawks didn't completely direct it, he probably helped out quite a bit. Like was pretty much the
Yeah.
co-director of it.
And it must have been a
this,
lot to him to say it on
th-
his deathbed. I
yeah,
kind of believe him.
Nyby says he directed it, but basically, like the truth seems to be like somewhere in the middle, where like
Hmm.
Hawks was there every day, and because Christian Nyby revered Howard Hawks so much, he pretty much deferred to him on all like questions and
Yeah.
situations, and so like
Maybe was the mouthpiece.
Hmm.
yeah,
He
right.
told him what to do, but he was following notes, basically.
That's right. All right,
Yeah.
that's where we're at with that.
It certainly
Uh,
has that Howard Hawks sort of feel to it, especially when it comes to that like rapid fire dialogue that is snappy and almost overlapping at times.
yeah,
Mhm.
very overlappy.
Almost to the point where it's like it seems just like people are like trying to read the script as quickly as possible. Like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Hey, did you hear about the alien? Yes, I think we found a good way of getting him. I think maybe we should use electricity. Let's do it. Let's go. And it was just like absolutely no breaks in the speech pattern. Doesn't seem like anyone's processing what anyone else is talking about. Just like Let's race through
Yeah,
this
it's
fucking script.
true. And there's like a million characters, and they're all the same character.
Yeah.
My favorite character is kind of the scientist, just
Same.
because like he's the only one that like has opinions that aren't the opinions of everybody else.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember that being a part of the 82 version. So that was sort of new in this one. Somebody who's like is the sciencey guy.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, is there no sciency guy
I
in
feel like
the?
not really. But there's different people arguing different
There's
things.
the doctor, Doctor Copper.
But this guy was really like, we have to investigate it for science. Don't kill it. And yeah, those people giving orders like in America. That's not really part of the 82 version, is it?
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
It's more isolated in the 82 one.
Yeah, and that sort of role is sort of taken by Wilford Brimley, I guess, in the sense where he just wants to like, you know, stop everyone from leaving all of a sudden instead of being so passionate to save the monster. Like each of them have
Mhm.
sort of like a dissenting like scientist of some sort. Seems
Right.
like. Especially
Right.
yeah, especially the 2011 one. That one is kind of ridiculous as well with
Mhm.
how like how the main scientist is dissenting everything even when everything's going to hell.
I gotta say, I'd never seen the 2011 version. I'd only ever seen the Carpenter version, and it was a little bit hyped to me by
Mhm.
people. Like people were like, you know what, man, that 2011 version's not bad. Like I'm pretty into it. And Henry liked it, I remember, and my girlfriend liked it, and I didn't. I don't
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too hyped for me.
Mm.
Felt like an
What,
alien movie to
an
me.
alien movie? Like
Like one of those alien movies.
like a xenomorph
Yeah.
film?
Yeah, it
All
felt
right.
like one of those to me. Especially the end, like boarding the ship. It felt like Alien Covenant or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. Or like AVP.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, where were we?
Uh,
Start of the
the
movie a little bit.
the thing from another world.
All
Yeah.
right, yeah. So this came out at April 27th, 1951.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all right. So my dad's in the world, but not my mom yet.
Okay.
All right. That's important to note. And it's on an AFI list.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to play the AFI theme?
Oh, that's really my favorite one, I think.
It's by far the best one.
By far, you can't say by far. when
I
there's
think
so
by
many
far,
great ones.
by far the best one.
I think
He never topped that.
it's
like
narrowly the best one.
I don't know about that.
I
You know,
like the
actually,
Golden Globes.
It's funny that you guys mentioned that. I actually have a recording of it right here if you guys want to hear it.
I would
Oh
love
my
that.
God, please. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That version was very high pitched.
That was the exact same version.
Really? Oh,
It was-
man, I
it's
guess I just haven't
identical.
heard it in a while.
It's just the recording of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't listen to the podcast anymore, so you don't know. You don't know what's what.
I only listen to the Taylor Swift podcast.
Of course, right?
All right. So it's the number 87 most thrilling movie.
Wow.
Okay.
I wouldn't really agree with that.
No, and the John Carpenter version is not on any AFI lists. So I don't know what we're doing.
What are
It's
we doing?
ridiculous.
Mhm.
I think for its time, maybe it was like super, super thrilling because like nobody had seen, that many monster movies and just
It's
films in general.
1951. There were
No,
millions monster movies. There were all those. Yeah, like all this is like a fucking Frankenstein movie in the Arctic,
Yeah,
which is where Frankenstein takes place, right? Doesn't he end up in the Arctic at the end of that movie?
that's right. Yeah.
really. That's
Yeah.
cool. But wait, how often do they update the AFI list?
I
Not
think
en-
the
not
only
enough.
one they update
Not
is the only one they update is like the best movies of all time list. Like the other ones stand.
The thing should probably be on there.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's
Not
not.
even close, dude. The
How
John
do you know?
Carpenter thing was nominated for a Razzie.
What if it is close? What if it's like right outside the list? Would have been next.
I don't have that much trust in the American Film Institute,
Okay, fair.
or
Razzie.
frankly, A Fire Inside.
Hey
AFI?
now,
You're an all-star.
was it Black Sails is a fucking
Yeah,
timeless album?
you think the thing would be on that AFI's list of the best movies ever?
Absolutely.
It could be, yeah. They're aesthetically similar. All right, let's. What'd you think of this fucking movie? I watched it I just asked you a question and now I'm gonna talk.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, you do. I just watched it for the first time last night after having rewatched Carpenter's version, and I mean, it's less than 90 minutes long. It starts on like a base and they're like, we need to go to this other base, and I'm like, you should have just started at the other base.
Oh, come
and
on.
and then they go to the other base and it's like, we found a thing,
Yeah, they did.
it's made of carrots and it's from outer space. All right. And then they thaw it out, it wakes up, it attacks them a couple times, but really just it like opens a door and then like takes a wipe at you, a little
It
whack.
fights some dogs at one point.
Yeah, it does in the
Yeah.
distance.
I like when they stood
And
in the circle though, like under the ice, and they were trying to see like the diameter of what they were looking at. I thought that was a really cool scene there. You just blew
Mhm.
right past it, but I enjoyed that.
all right. Shout out to that. Well, I mean, we could go back. I'm just giving you the basic scope of the movie.
Well, you're doing it like you're annoyed with the movie.
I am annoyed with the movie. It's boring.
I took it for what it was and enjoyed it.
All right. I don't know, man. I've seen, original version. All right. So like I grew up in an era where they were remaking a lot of these movies in the 80s. So
Body
like,
snatchers, like those.
yeah. So like I've gone back and watched a lot of those. The original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original Blob, the original I don't know, a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch
There's
of
a
them.
thousand. And a lot of those movies have a lot of merit. I end up really enjoying them and seeing why they were picked to be remade.
Mhm.
And this one, it just felt to me like, I mean, it's revered, but I don't know. Like it's just like it didn't nail the original short story. So let's do that.
Well, yeah, they remade it because they could improve upon it,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
why things should be remade, in my opinion.
I agree. So yeah, then he gets set on fire and they say watch the skies a couple times and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, you nailed it. Great
Thank
job.
much it, yeah.
you. Thank you. One of you guys give me your thoughts on it.
Aaron, you have anything you want to say?
So this is a movie that I thought I had seen before, and
Mm.
I feel like I had attempted to watch this movie several times. Um, and yeah, I think it would happen every single time I got through like about the first, half hour or so, and then probably just fell asleep on the couch or something because
Mm.
it is very plotting, but it's like, I'm contributing that to the time it was made. So they weren't necessarily into like super fast pacing movies and whatever. And it maybe in their opinion that it's building up suspense, but maybe not so much. One thing I gotta say though, like upon watching this for the first time, was I was actually really impressed with the fire stunts that were done in that one particular scene. They just, yeah, fucking light the whole place up and pretty much no regards to any person's safety, which is great. You want that. You
That's
want that
true,
in an
man.
old film.
And the
I
Carpenter
just
one too. Awesome
Yeah.
fire stuff in both movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the fire was being done at that point. Like I will give this movie credit. There's not a lot of fire stunts being done in the early 1950s, and this movie has some pretty cool ones. And I just watched The Fall Guy, so I have a
Mhm.
lot of like respect for stuntmen at this particular time in my life, and it was pretty cool. I wondered whether it was James Arness. So James Arness is like the dude from Gunsmoke who plays the monster in this version. And like I always thought he was just an actor guy, but he's also like 7 feet tall. So maybe he like broke into the business just like getting set on fire and shit.
It's good
I
work
think
if you
being
can get
7 feet tall will help you.
Yeah, well, of course. But why don't you just play basketball? Am I right? Shut up and dribble, James Arness.
So you're not good. So maybe he didn't want to. He wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I guess so. Like The Rock.
I don't know why
That's
all
right.
tall people don't just play basketball though.
No, I say that all the time. If you're tall and you suck at basketball, you're a failure.
Yeah, if you're tall and I see you like doing not basketball, I don't respect you. Just
No,
kidding.
yeah.
Just
Oh
kidding.
my. No, honestly, I just rewatched Survivor, the Australian Outback,
Yeah.
and there's this guy Mitchell, and he's 7 feet tall, and he's like a folk singer, and I'm like, put down that fucking ukulele.
That's his passion. That's different.
And pick up a basketball for God's sake.
No, that's different. You ever see Survivor, Aaron?
Yeah, I think I watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay, so he knows Mitchell.
Yeah, so you do know Mitchell. That's season 2, man.
Oh, in that case, I probably do. It's been a while though.
Been a while.
That's fair.
Been a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a romance in this movie.
Yeah, very.
Oh, I liked that part of it.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was sort of a lot of the movie though. That's probably why you fell asleep.
Sweet.
It's like, it's okay.
She kept coming to the door with coffee, and she'd be like, "Anyone into coffee?" And the dude would be like, "No, but why don't you come in? Just hang out."
That seemed like a bit.
Smell nice.
Kept repeating.
This part definitely felt like a Bogart Bacall sort of moment from like Howard Hawks' other film, The Big Sleep. Like a lot of those like noir films had that same sort of snappy back and forth banter.
Yeah,
that one was edited by this fella, Nyby.
He's an editor too.
I said this before. He got his start as Howard Hawks' editor.
Oh shit, my bad. When I saw his name, I thought it was Nibby, possibly. That's how I wanted to say it. Nibby.
Really? Well, I mean, I didn't look up how you're supposed to say it. I'm just.
I didn't either.
That's my interpretation.
Naibai for me.
Naibai. So Naibai, Nyby, and Nibby is what we've got going on here. Let us know.
I like Naibai. I hope it's that. All right, so I thought she was cute. You know, I actually appreciated it because that's kind of my problem with John Carpenter's The Thing. If I have a problem, no, honestly, like I don't. It's like a great movie and it's one of his best, and you know it's incredible. But and it's gonna get a 5. Like, all right, so ease up. So, but. It's such a fucking sausage fest. Like there's no ladies in the entire movie. There's literally like a robot lady voice at the beginning of it, and that is the only female presence.
Did you see that
entire fucking movie? Yeah, it was Adrienne Barbeau, your favorite.
My favorite from the
Logan's considering starting a podcast with her because he thought she was such a great radio announcer in The Fog.
Oh wow,
such a great radio performance there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she married John Carpenter. Is that right?
Yeah.
They were married at this point, yeah.
Okay. So that was pretty cool. But I
don't think they ended up together though. She's probably still fair game, Logan.
Oh wow!
Get in there.
I'll go hit her up. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. There's no women. That was never a complaint of mine. What a win! Why do I want to be out there? What are they doing?
Well, I think you know, look, it's 1982, so I'm not gonna give it too much shit, but like. Yeah, surely there are female scientists that would go on like all right, that would go on a base like this. But, you know, maybe in 1982 there weren't. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Let them have it. You have your take, Aaron? You think there should be women in The Thing, 1982?
I think there should be women working any job, Logan.
That's true. That's
a great answer.
Especially in this political climate. In a couple of years, they might not be allowed to. Am I right?
You're right.
All right. I've got
some
strong opinions about the election. And I'm saying them in a joking manner, but they are oddly possible.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you feel, Aaron? You vote for Trump?
At least... well, at least they gave her another purpose than just being a love interest, and she was like what the doctor's scribe, like she was taking notes for him, like while he was doing research.
I thought you were gonna say she brought coffee.
Yeah,
no, well, she did do that.
Of course, she had to also bring coffee and snacks to the men. You know,
that's a good point.
But she wasn't even the only lady there. There was a second lady.
Yeah.
You know, and she didn't have any personality or anything, but she was there.
There were two ladies.
Yeah,
Did this guys? Did this film pass the Bechdel test?
definitely not.
It might have. I don't know.
Yeah, if they had like a scene where the two ladies are talking about aliens, but I don't
I
think they
think that
even like shared any dialogue.
the
But
prequel doesn't it? There's the part where Mary Elizabeth Winstead walks off with her, and then she turns into that alien. They're not talking
That's
about
true.
men in that scene. There's no way. Why would they be? They're talking
right.
about the thing.
Shout out
We're
to
get-
2011's The Thing.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. What else you got? I have very little to say about this original movie, and it makes me feel like a fucking philistine. Like I feel like there's gonna be like fans of this movie listening to the podcast, going like, "Oh, he just doesn't like it because it's old or whatever." But like, I like movies like this.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
paranoia thrillers from the 50s and shit, and the original Body Snatchers is
Well, this
fucking
wasn't
awesome.
much paranoia. There
I
was
think
like
that's the
one
problem.
monster. We knew what it was. There was no who's the
It
monster.
was a carrot.
Yeah.
I liked him though. I thought he looked pretty cool.
And they figured out everything immediately. It was like they find the creature, like they're like, oh, the creature's like part vegetable. Then they're just like, oh well, let's electrocute it, and then they electrocute it, and he dies.
That works.
They're of course they try other things in between, but it's like they jump to a lot of like positive conclusions like immediately, and in like I said, rapid fire conversations.
There's
And no
also a
cool
lot of talks.
deaths or anything either.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about how like no one's gonna believe them about the story.
Mhm.
But then like there's a journalist character in the movie, and at the end he like calls into his newspaper to like give the story. And we're supposed to act like now they're gonna believe him. Like it sounds insane. He's like, well,
Well, they have the dead body with them now.
what, the carrot guy?
Initially, they were worried it might escape, and they don't have anything to prove it. But now they killed it.
I still say if you picked up USA Today tomorrow and it had
Why
a
would you do that?
story.
You should only pick it up today.
I'm just
Why would you
saying,
read the
no.
news a day late?
Why don't you fucking suck my dick? And there's a carrot story, a story of a carrot man in the Arctic who, can't be burned or whatever. Like, you wouldn't believe that. You'd say fake news.
Not if
Am
they
I
had the
right?
body.
Is that a Buffy reference?
Yes, that was a Buffy reference. What I just did.
Okay.
Not if they have Hush.
Jesus Christ.
You did it. You fucking started it.
I did not mean to.
All right. But I think that's why they did it, because they can prove it. They're like, we killed it.
How are they proven?
Who
this?
cares? I don't want to argue about this.
All right.
There's a character, Dr. Voorhees. I thought that was kind of cool. Nothing. No way. Nothing to Dr. Voorhees.
Aaron, Dr. Voorhees.
You ever hear of
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees?
I know. I was just trying to think. Like, do you think that's where the origin came from?
I don't know.
That's where they got the name.
Yeah, maybe. Only one O though, isn't it? Two in Jason.
Yeah.
They added an extra O. Oh, I just thought it was cool. Nobody cares.
They're
though.
that's spooky. Or
I
Yeah.
didn't even notice until you
Ooh.
until you pointed it out. So
Yeah.
I must
I
have
didn't
missed it.
either.
Well, we learned something then.
I
Great.
did like. I wonder if it's the same in the story or not. But I did like how they discover the spaceship. It's like this, find of the century, and they immediately like put thermite charges like directly on top of the spaceship. It wasn't even like they were like trying to carve it out. Like you saw them like placing explosives like
Yeah.
right on the flying saucer, and then they're amazed when the whole thing blows up.
Maybe explosives weren't as good back then.
No, I think they were too good.
Oh,
They
they're
were
too
pretty good, man. I mean, 1951. I think a couple of years ago, we bombed the shit out of Japan.
Okay, that was like peak
Yeah.
explosive time.
Yeah,
Wrong.
that was good explosives. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Pearl Harbor,
I haven't.
but there's some pretty good explosions in that movie.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you give The Thing from Another World?
I got 3.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna go 3 just for its time, and especially that fire scene. Like little stuff like that really kept it, like elevated it. I was about to go for a 2, but there were a couple like couple really amazing scenes for its time where I'm just like, okay, I'll put it there, and I think it definitely deserves respect for its time.
Mm.
But if I was rating it on just pure enjoyment, I'd probably go closer to a 2.
Yeah. 3 feels polite to me, guys. I'm gonna be the guy to give it a 2.
Wow.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
I'm closer to a 4 than a 2. The fire scene was honestly so cool. The way she like was holding a mattress and the mattress catches on fire and they like you see them like pull it off of her. Like she's just standing there with a mattress on fire. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, and they were all like, there were tons of people in that room, like that's being lit on fucking fire. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably some on-set injuries and that they didn't report to the news.
No
Yeah.
deaths though. So
Christian Nyby automatically a better director than John Landis.
yep. Shout out to him.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
He did it.
All right. So who's MVP? I'm gonna go with that lady. I think I forgot about her. She's
Oh
fun.
yeah.
I'll go with the doctor.
Okay.
The
I'm gonna
scientist
go
guy.
with the doctor as well, but
Fair.
you make a good point. Runner up is uh, the doctor's assistant.
Do we know any of these actors, by the way?
Boy, that's
Margaret
probably...
Sheridan played the woman. Kenneth
should've
Tobey's
looked
our lead
this up.
man. Robert Cornthwaite is our doctor. We
I
got
don't know
Douglas
anyone.
Spencer. I feel like I've heard of Douglas
I
Spencer.
only knew the monster.
Oh,
I
yeah?
mean, I'm looking at Margaret Sheridan. She's only got like a couple credits to her name, so she's not really a thing. Kenneth
A thing?
Tobey. Hey, he's in
He's in a bunch
the
of stuff.
Gremlins movies. He was
Oh,
in a
shit.
fucking Hellraiser, dude.
Oh my goodness, which one?
He's in a bunch of stuff, but I can't for the life of me remember a single thing that he's in. But he's in tons of stuff. He's in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Wow.
Okay.
He's in
Inner Space.
Big Top Pee Wee.
Yeah. All right. So at the Howling.
Gremlins, The Howling. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Airplane. So it's like I'm sure I've seen him around, but
Yeah.
I just can't for the life of me like remember him.
And then your guy, Robert Cornthwaite, that was your MVP. Seems like he was around.
Okay.
He's in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Oh, he's Future World. We covered that.
Yeah. Westworld, Future World.
Yeah, he shows up in Dr. Detroit as well, which also has T.K. Carter from the Carpenter version. So
Oh, connection there.
if you've ever seen Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd, you can see members of both thing casts.
That's very cool.
All right, it's a fun fact.
There we go.
All right, let's
So-
move on.
We're an LVP?
Oh, what do you got?
I think there's no like who's the thing? I don't know about what that would be the LVP though. There's no suspense, I guess is the LVP.
It's tricky. It's just a bunch of like interchangeable honkies on here, so it's hard to really tell them apart.
I'll give it
That's
to
true.
a monster, man. It's
Oh,
just
come on.
it's boring. Fucking Frankenstein, but carrot.
That's fine to me. I like him.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just pick any of the random white guys in it who are just
Sure.
kind of off to the side. It's kind of hard to pick one.
Robert Nichols.
And
You're the
great.
LVP, Robert.
Great.
There we go.
Sorry,
you.
buddy.
They're probably all dead.
Probably. The main guy died in like 2002, so you know
They were like in their
they're
50s
long
when they shot
dead.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the Thing 1982 version, this gets started in 1976. There are the Wall Street guys, and they own the rights to the Thing, and they don't know what to do with them. So they decide to put them on auction, and it gets bought by Universal. All right. They're like, we do horror movies. We're Universal. And they immediately offer it to Tobe Hooper. He had just done Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And so he writes a script for the Thing, and it takes place underwater.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're like, well, I don't know what this is. We're not making this. So
They would have done a cool. That would have been cool though. Tobe
Yeah,
Hooper's the
sure.
Thing.
Why not?
I would have definitely been interested in checking it out. That would
yeah.
have been a Very, very different movie.
Underwater is weird though. Yeah.
So they stop. It's not in development for a couple of years, and then what happens is Alien comes out, and that's a huge hit. So they're looking at Alien movies. That's the lesson they took from that. Not
Mhm.
not that like maybe female leads work in sci-fi movies. Let's make an Alien movie with all
Well,
dudes.
Close Encounters was probably big too. That's an
That's
alien movie.
later. You
That's
son of a bitch.
77.
What? Oh
Close
yeah, you're
Encounter.
right. You're
It's
right.
him in
That's
Star
earlier.
Wars.
I got
Yeah, yeah.
that wrong. Sorry. And I
And
called you
Star
a
Wars
son
is
of a
already out.
bitch.
So
I
Aliens
was
is probably huge.
I was so confidently wrong there. Um, but yeah, you're probably right. So Alien comes out 1979. Halloween comes out the year before that. It's perfect. They're like, let's offer it to that guy, and he's into it. He's a fan of that movie. You could tell because it's in Halloween,
Yeah.
and he decides he's going to do it. But it's like Carpenter decides like this is going to be his big break. Like this is going to break him into like real Hollywood. And so he's nervous about it. He decides he doesn't want to write the script himself and he doesn't want to do the music himself, which he does on pretty much all his other shit at this point.
So who writes the
Um,
movie, Daniel?
so they get this fella, Bill Lancaster, who we just fucking talked about.
Yeah.
He's Burt Lancaster's son, and he wrote the Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
And I read that that's why Carpenter hired him. Like
Wow.
Carpenter requested this guy because he liked the Bad News Bears.
Holy
And
shit.
it's funny to imagine John Carpenter even watching the Bad News Bears, but now watching it and going like, that's who I want to write my Thing remake.
Yeah. I didn't know he got him because of that. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's a crazy choice.
You can't really feel the Bad News Bearsiness on the thing. Maybe
Well,
you can.
you kind of
Well-
can. I feel like it's a bunch
Yeah,
of dudes just like chatting amongst themselves.
Yeah, like it seems like a lot of like the characters in Bad News Bears, like the personalities of all the different kids. It doesn't just seem like a random group of kids. Like you know the characters pretty well. So I feel
Tanner.
like he's got a good grasp of like giving all of his characters, character,
Yeah, that's true. He's good at writing characters. It's a good point.
which I think is
Mhm.
this movie's strongest point because if you didn't like these guys or get to know them or feel like you know them a little bit, I don't think you would really care as much when they start like turning
Well,
against each other.
it'd be hard to even like guess at it. Part of the movie is watching it and like paying attention to how they're acting and trying to figure out who's the Thing and who's themselves.
Right.
And if they didn't have their own personalities, it wouldn't matter. Like if they did that in the original movie, where like it's just like 17 white guys with the same personality, like you can't do a huge reveal like, oh, that one white guy, he's the Thing.
Right. Which is how the first one was. But I guess they don't do the who's who aspect of it.
It was missing the entire shape shifting element, which I
Mhm.
think the original novella
Yeah.
included. Yeah, I'm
It
pretty
does,
sure
yeah.
it does.
I mean, it's called Who Goes There.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
Mhm.
Which I like, by the way. I think John Carpenter should have called his version "Who Goes There." What do you think?
Well, I think
No,
at the
it's
very
probably
least,
contracted.
they should have called the 2011 one "Who Goes There." Like
That
way you
right?
have everything because why call it the Thing again? I guess
Or
maybe because
even-
they considered the John Carpenter's The Thing as John Carpenter's The Thing, but
That's
No.
how I hear it a lot.
when sequels
I-
use the exact same title.
I think
Yeah.
it's because they, they figure like people fondly remember the Thing, and so we'll just like that's like an IP that people will remember. But why not call it the Thing: Who Goes There? What do you think?
Perfect.
I mean, I like it. But at this point, they had already done the Friday the 13th and Halloween where we were just calling it what it was in the past.
But those are remakes. This is a
Those are
prequel.
remakes. This is a
Listen, for
prequel.
years I thought this was a remake, and
Mhm.
that's a failure of the title.
True. I think
All
I
right.
did too. Yeah.
I didn't see this because I thought it was a remake of John Carpenter's The Thing, a movie I felt had no business being remade. And so, if I knew at the time that it was a prequel about the fucking Norwegian scientists, like at the beginning, I might have been more inclined to see it, to give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, bad job by them, the titling.
Yeah. All right. Um, all right. So it comes out June 25th, 1982. It's got like, Carpenter's like biggest budget ever, $15 million. And it doesn't do great, honestly. It made 19.9 at the box office. Came in at number 42 for the year between My Favorite Year and Death Trap, which are two much smaller scale movies. And um, it didn't even really get great reviews at the time.
No,
Yeah.
I was it. Siskel and Ebert thought it was like torture porn, basically. They thought it was just grotesque, and it's wild. Like John Carpenter just could never catch a fucking break. It seems like every
Yeah.
time he made a film, it was just so far ahead of its time that it was just a bomb at the box office. I think Halloween did well though, right?
Halloween had done well. That's how he got this
Yeah.
opportunity.
But
But
virtually everything else, like it was like horribly panned, and then like a decade or
A
so
cult
later, it
following.
becomes like
yeah,
a well-renowned piece of cinema. So it's just
Right.
like he was never quite appreciated. So it kind of makes sense that later on in his career, he got so cynical and his quality of film just like went off a cliff because he's at that point just like, man, I don't give a shit. Whatever. Here's another film.
Yeah, you
yeah.
guys
I
want
don't
this
know.
shit? Here you go.
It's Ice T. No, Ice Cube on
Ghosts of
a planet
Mars.
just shooting Martians. Ghost
Yeah,
Martian.
that's
Oh,
hey, that
wow.
movie's fun, man. Uh
Should we rank him? Should we do that now?
oh, okay, we could do that. Yeah.
I only have 12, so I'll be waiting until you guys get to
What?
12.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that how we're doing it? I
I think
think we should
so.
all just do our own
I think it'll
list.
be fun to see matches. We might get some matches.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
You know,
How many on yours,
I think he had
Aaron?
Got
16.
16.
All right. I've got 22.
Is that
Wow.
all of them?
I think so.
Okay.
I've got some weird blind spots. Like I realized making this list I had never seen Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh, that's fun.
I just recently rewatched that. It's a fucking great movie. You'd love it.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be on like much higher on my list. But anyways, who wants to start?
All right. Well, I guess I'm starting at 22, and Aaron, you'll join me at 16. And
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. All right. So the worst one at 22 is one of his Masters of Horror installments, which is called Pro Life, like this country. And number 21 is Elvis with Kurt Russell as Elvis.
Mhm.
20 is the aforementioned Ghosts of Mars. 19 is his final film, The Ward, with Amber Heard. 18 is Someone's Watching Me, which is a TV movie he did, I think, the same year as Halloween. 17 is Cigarette Burns, which is another Masters of Horror, much better than the other one.
I thought whenever I first heard of that movie when I saw it on his filmography, I thought that was a Jim Jarmusch movie.
Cigarette Burns?
Cigarette Burns for some reason.
Well,
Sounds like a Jim
You
Jarmusch
might be
movie.
thinking of
Cigarettes?
Coffee and Cigarettes.
Maybe I am. Maybe I
Yeah.
am.
He
Yeah.
loves cigarettes. All right. So, number 16. What's last on your list, Aaron?
Village of the Damned.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Village of the Damned.
I thought I liked it until I rewatched it recently, and it kind of slid down my scale.
Okay. My 16 is his first film, Dark Star. And 15, Aaron.
15's Ghost of Mars. Another one I made a mistake of rewatching recently, and it really feels like he's kind of losing it.
Yeah, yeah, fair.
Or
Uh,
not even losing it. Like it was shot competently, but it just felt like a lot of like the scenes, like the fight scenes were just shot in like a big wide shot, and then they just kind of like had no real choreography, just kind of like yeah, just go and just punch a bunch of bad guys.
Doesn't have a fun heavy metal soundtrack though.
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. My 15 is Vampires.
Okay.
That one does too. Cool heavy metal soundtrack.
Does it?
Mhm.
I just watched it
Ah.
yesterday.
All right, what's your 14?
Body Bags. It was like an anthology movie that I think they were trying to make a whole series, like a new Tales from the Crypt, and John
Mhm.
Carpenter plays like the coroner who's like their version of the Crypt Keeper. And there's some good I just some good snippets in it. I forget which one he directed, but I remember liking all of them in that.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. But like every director that's involved in that, it's good, right? Isn't like Tobe Hooper in there too?
Hmm.
I might have made that up.
Let me. I'm gonna
All
confirm
right.
that. But anyways, go on.
Uh, oh, my 14 is Escape from L.A.
That's my 13.
Okay, and my 13 is Village of the Damned.
There we go.
All right. What's
12. 12 is Dark Star.
okay?
Again, that one's kind of like I'm giving him credit just because of like how that essentially led to other things. Like he worked on that with Dan O'Bannon and
Yeah,
eventually went on to it was basically the framework for what would become Alien. So
I think Dark Star's got some cool shit in it. It's oddly influential, and and it takes a lot of its cues from shit I like too, like The Prisoner or something.
it's just that beat. It's the beach ball alien, man. That's the
I
part
like
that
the beach ball alien. I find it kind of spooky. All right, what's your 12?
My 12.
Oh right, you're 12. Yeah, sure.
My last place is The Fog. I think that's
Okay.
the most boring of his I've seen.
Okay. What about you?
Fog is my number 11.
Wait, but what was your 12?
I thought he said
12
12.
was Dark Star.
Oh shit, I didn't say mine.
Oh,
My 12 was Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
mm.
All right, so your 11 is
My
The
11.
Fog. What's
Mhm.
yours, Aaron? I mean, Logan.
My 11 is vampires.
All right, and mine is In the Mouth of Madness.
Okay.
All right, top 10. Go ahead.
John Carpenter's Vampires.
We should have been
All
doing that the
right.
whole time. John Carpenter's and then say the title of the film.
Exactly.
Just for all of them.
My 10 is John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness.
And
I think though most of them do have that printed on at least like the poster, or at least on a lot of these, especially vampires. I'm certain at least on
no,
the poster says
later
John
on, like Ghosts of Mars and Vampires, those like I think the official titles were John Carpenter's whatever.
A lot of them are in the movie that way too. Like when the title card comes up, it'll say, especially The Thing. That's definitely on there.
Mm-hmm. My 10 is The Fog.
Okay.
What's your 9, Aaron? Logan?
Okay. My 9 is Starman. I don't think you
Okay.
guys have said it yet, have you?
No,
No,
I've got it a lot higher.
That's my number 9.
Okay.
Oh, you matched. Are
We
you
matched.
super excited?
I'm super excited.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first one no, Halloween was the first one, but that was an early one I saw, Starman.
And that's one I need to rewatch. That could
Same.
go up or down my list, but I remember enjoying it, but not, loving it as much as these ones coming up.
Okay.
Mm.
My 9 is Prince of Darkness.
Okay. My 8, Assault on Precinct 13.
Aaron?
Escape from New York.
All right. And I've got Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay. My 7 is John Carpenter's
that's
In the
high up
Mouth
on the
of
list.
Madness.
That's
What was that?
that's really high on yours, Aaron.
Oh,
All right. What's 7 for you?
In the Mouth of
the-
Madness.
All right.
Dude, we're like twins.
Really?
Like,
And
In the Mouth
twins.
of
That's
Mad-
me and Aaron.
And twins.
We should be and twins.
No, that's my number 7 as well.
All right.
Love it.
That one.
My 7, Starman.
Okay. My 6, Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh. My 6 is Prince of Darkness.
All right. And mine is Assault on Precinct 13.
All right.
Top 5.
Heavy hitters.
Very good.
Escape from New York.
All right.
Okay.
That is a heavy hitter.
Christine.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, now we're twins, Aaron. I got Christine at number 5. Fuck
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Hell yeah.
That seems low, a bit low. My
Really?
4, I love Christine. You could flop my 4 and 3, but my 4 is going to be They Live.
Okay. Aaron.
Logan, we're triplets now, man.
Triplets, quintuplets, is that
And
4?
triplets.
And triplets.
No, that's also
That's
my number
5.
4.
Oh, Bubba.
Yeah. All right. I've got Escape from New York in that slot.
Wow, I like that. Number 3 is Christine.
Number 3 has to be Big Trouble in Little China.
Has to
Mhm.
be.
Wow. Very high.
I like that though.
That's it's such a great movie. Like it's one of those movies I don't think I watched the first time and I thought it was awful, and then every time I rewatch it, it's just it gets funnier and funnier because it's
Yeah.
just the weirdest sense of humor. But once you get kind of on the right wavelength, it is a
Same,
fucking brilliant
actually.
film.
I think there's early episodes of the franchise with Henry where like you can hear me talking shit about that movie. And I was wrong. I've rewatched it since then. Maybe if I rewatch a couple more times, it might move up a couple more slots. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I think
What
that
other
was-
movies
what is-
have you been wrong about?
I don't know, a few.
Okay, what do you know him though?
Casablanca.
No, I
Really?
always thought that was good. I don't know. Like I don't know that I've ever been like completely wrong, but like I've talked too much shit.
Mhm.
Like, I've rewatched it and been like, that's better.
That was
than-
hard on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially because I think that's one of Henry's favorite films, so it's just easier to just poke at him.
I think that's why it came up. Like whatever year it was like number 2 or 3 on his list, and I like made fun of him. And now I'm like, I sound like the dork in that situation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Did you say your 3, Daniel?
No, did you?
I did, and Aaron did, I think.
Oh, what was
His
it?
was Big Trouble in
Oh.
Little China.
And what was yours?
Mine was Christine.
Oh, right. Okay. Mine's They Live.
Okay, that's what I thought. And the top 2, we all have the same top 2. It sounds like. I think this is the definitive top 2. Everybody says
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah,
between.
it's just a matter of which one you put first, but I think it's undeniable that these are his 2 best films.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't. I go back and forth on which is better.
I think I'm set. I think I know which one my favorite
Yeah?
is. Now. I think
All
I
right. What's your number 2, Logan?
My number 2 is John Carpenter's The Thing.
I have that too. What about you, Aaron?
My number 2 is John Carpenter's Halloween.
Okay.
Wow. Love it.
All right. So Logan and I both have Halloween at number 1, and
Yeah.
Aaron's got The Thing. I like it.
I just think The Thing is just a perfect film in its genre. Like if you're going for like dramatic sci-fi horror, there's like I can't really think of any that can top it. Halloween yet again also one of like a perfect slasher film too. So kind of like you, I think if it was like closer to Halloween, I might flip it around or if I'm in a different mood, but they're pretty close. They're almost interchangeable, but I would say Thing.
I'll tell you why I go
at
Halloween
the top.
higher. The Thing's based on something, and Halloween it's completely its own thing. And I think Halloween is my favorite creative and like my favorite invention creatively that anyone ever made. Halloween. I think that's where I've landed.
A big
Or
thing
Star
for me.
Wars, maybe Star Wars.
All right. A big thing for me is the music. I one of my favorite things about John Carpenter films is John Carpenter's score, and it drives me crazy sometimes, like watching The Thing, that there's no John Carpenter score.
It's kind of like Morricone doing a version of John Carpenter's.
Yeah, it
Agreed.
sounds like
it's,
him.
It's,
Yeah.
it's certainly not straight Morricone, and like if I didn't know it was Morricone and you told me it was John Carpenter, I'd probably believe you.
I think I thought it was for a while, maybe.
Me
Hmm.
too.
So yeah, he's doing like a little impression there. But
No, but
yeah,
yeah,
that's
speaking
go
of
ahead.
his music is fucking brilliant. I have a couple of his records of just the music he's written with his son, and it's one of the singers from the King or one of the members of the Kinks. I think it's Ray Davies.
Yeah.
Or Dave Davies' son. I forget which one, but yeah, I guess it's John Carpenter's godson.
Really?
But that's all he does like nowadays. He just loves playing music and playing video games.
yeah.
He plays video games?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like
Any
all like if you ever
interview.
hear an interview nowadays, like all he talks about is video games. So like start asking him about his movies and just be like, I don't know.
Wrap this up so I can
But have
play
you played
video
Red
games.
Dead Redemption 2?
I
Yeah.
have. It's pretty good. Yeah.
What game system does he have, Carpenter? Do we know?
Sure, he has them all, man. I'm guessing.
Oh, wow.
I'm just picturing him like literally doing nothing besides playing video
Yeah.
games. And then a couple times a week, his son comes over and they jam.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
That's
his
the life.
Which
Honestly.
is-
John Carpenter.
I mean, that's literally how I picture, my old age because that's borderline what I do now.
Wow.
Are you gonna have a son?
Oh.
No.
No, wow, straight up.
That's a decision you've made.
Yeah,
Are you gonna have a daughter?
absolute. No, no,
Girl dad.
no, I'm not planning on having any kids. Unless
Okay.
if my wife just throws me a random surprise, which
Hmm.
I would kind of doubt that. But how about you guys? What?
I would love kids one day. Yeah.
Never, man. I mean, um, if thank God for abortion, because if
Well,
I would have an 11-year-old right now if not
Wow.
for abortion, and I that would be horrible. All of my like quitting drinking would have happened through that. Like I'm a mess. I can't raise a
or it wouldn't
child.
have stopped. You'd still be drinking, possibly.
Yeah, you're probably right. I I have a cat. That's enough.
That's true. That's true. I
Yeah.
have a cat too.
What about you, Logan? You want to be a father?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Someday.
you do. Listen to that. That
Someday.
was as
There you
definitive as
go.
Aaron's no.
Yeah, it really was. I don't care if boy or girl. I'd like both. One of each.
What about twins?
I would love twins. No, that would be scary. But if I had two kids, I would name them Thing One and Thing Two.
Oh, Jesus
The
Christ.
twin thing worries me. I have twin nieces, and I feel like at some point somebody's gonna tell them they can make a lot of money on OnlyFans or something doing weird twin shit. And
Oh, the Nolan twins scared you?
yeah, honestly, I've seen too many twins doing shit like that, and it worries me. I don't want them part of that.
Hmm.
Well, just hope that they're normal. Grow up normal.
I mean, they have like my sister as a mom.
Oh, come on. Let's not bash your sister. I'm sure she's a great mother.
She is, but like she's not normal.
So,
Hey, man, who is nowadays?
who is?
I guess so.
Just raise them
Well, I mean,
right to make no right from wrong. Wrong would be
right?
kissing your sister or for the internet. Don't do that.
All right, fair enough.
That should be a Logan quote.
Yeah, yeah.
Sage advice from Logan.
Hmm. All right. So this movie, let's get into
It opens.
Huh?
We're trying to kill some dogs. What's that about?
It doesn't open on that. It opens on a UFO shot, which
Oh, yeah, true.
I always forget about, and it's
Same.
the worst looking shot in the entire fucking movie.
It's fine.
I would love to have seen this film without that opening scene because I think it would have been even more mysterious to the viewers. But I feel like they no, actually I don't know. I was gonna say I feel like they need to hook the audience, but I mean you're immediately chasing that dog, so you don't really need to even
Yeah,
hook them.
you got a helicopter in the opening scene. What that's gonna hook me. You're
Mhm.
a
That's like
helicopter in the Arctic.
that's like what people say about The Exorcist. Take out the part in Saudi Arabia or wherever they're at in the beginning, and it's a different movie.
It's my same problem I have with the Predator, like or I guess it's Predator,
Yeah.
not the Predator. Another like perfect action film, and the opening scene is almost identical to this, with like a spaceship crashing into Earth, and then it goes into a jungle war movie, which I think if you would have just dropped it into the jungle war movie without any sort of hints of sci-fi, would have been
Yes. 100%.
That's a great call.
And
That's a
it's
great
not,
call because you wouldn't
it's not,
expect an alien at that
Mhm.
point.
but
That's a
you're
great
also
decision.
not trying to hide that it's an alien. Like
Mhm.
once they find like the other base with like the missing creature and the tank and you
Mhm.
know what they blew up out of the snow, whatever. I don't know. Like you're owning that. Like it is an alien movie. You don't need a UFO at the beginning for it to be an alien movie.
I think it would work
Also,
better
like,
for Predator. I don't think it changes my opinion on the thing, but Predator,
no,
I think that
I'm
that
with- 'cause-
substantially makes the movie better. Actually, that's a great decision.
I can at least picture the Predator piloting a UFO.
Mhm.
I can't picture the thing running controls. All
He-
right.
the thing where he took over a pilot's body was what happened. Duh.
Well, the thing, if you remember from the 2011 film, the pilot is just a random box of pixels moving around.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's
Well-
like Tetris bricks.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that soon.
Mhm. All right. So after that, yeah, they're chasing some dogs. It goes straight into handheld camera too, like right
Mhm.
after that shot. Like the UFO looks so fake, and then we're like dropped into this like cinema verite, which is fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and we're starting to meet our cast. Who do we got? Who are your faves?
Kurt Russell's my favorite.
McCready.
McCready.
That's yeah.
Always thought
I
that
think
was
it's
such a cool
great.
name.
Me too.
We got Wilford Brimley as
hmm
Blair.
Originally, he wanted Pleasance. He was going to bring
Oh,
in Donald Pleasance from Halloween to play the Wilford Brimley part, but I'm
that would have been
sort
good,
of
but Brimley is so perfect for this.
agreed.
Yeah, I feel like this is what he's known for
Hmm.
mostly to
And
me.
then the amazing Keith David is
Hmm. Those are the
on
three
the
I know
ground.
mostly. Right?
Yeah, but there's lots of good ones. Like those are the three known actors, but
Right.
I like the weed smoking guy,
Hmm.
and I like TK Carter, the other black fella. Richard Mazer is a good character actor who's
Hmm.
running around this movie. There's the
The
guy
fibrillator guy who
yeah,
gets
there's
his hands cut
dog
off.
guy.
Dog guy. All
Yeah,
the guys. They're all very specific, of
yeah.
course.
Hmm.
You know why they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then you could tell that they feel like people who are just like bored as hell in an Arctic base, just doing whatever they can to just keep their sanity. Like the chef is just like on his roller skates because he's like, who the hell
I
cares?
love that.
Yeah.
I love how Kurt Russell's playing like video chess.
Yeah.
And of course like drinking heavily, like I'm sure everyone would be. But
He
I think
fucked
it's
his
just
computer up. He poured the drink in the computer. Why
yeah,
would you
because that
do that?
it's foreshadowing, Logan.
For what?
Because he's got a plan for everything, but then whenever his plan doesn't work out, he just says fuck it and blows it up.
Oh, wow. I like
Mm.
that. I actually like
Yeah.
that. But I thought that was a crazy decision. What a sore
Yeah,
loser.
he's gonna be missing that chess in a couple days.
Well, I don't think he's probably dead. I guess we'll talk about what happens at the end. But
Spoilers.
yeah, so yeah. Do
Well,
you
you
have
know
any
what?
theories?
I
Who
think
lived?
they're
Who died?
I think they're both not the thing.
They're both
Mhm.
not the thing. They
hmm
killed the thing and it's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Aaron? Well, I mean, that's the end of the movie, but like
Mhm.
it's got this like ambiguous ending where Keith David and Kurt Russell are the survivors, and they're neither one of them know whether the other one is an alien or not.
Right.
What's your takeaway?
Aaron.
There's like a fan theory that towards the end when he's blowing up everything, he's like filling up, basically making Molotov cocktails out of like the J&B bottles. And there's a fan theory that he handed Keith David's character one of those bottles filled with gasoline, and he
Oh,
took a big
right.
sip from it. So it's like, oh, he must be an alien because he doesn't know the difference. But I
Right.
honestly think it's just bleak as hell, just being with just the two of them being just humans and then just dying. And we already know that the aliens can't be burnt to death because they've already tried that and then they thawed out and it came back to life. So it's just basically everyone's fucked eventually.
Yeah. I think one of them sitting there turned into the thing. The other one killed him. And then shortly after that, other guy turned into the thing, and then they both died. I think they didn't last like 10 minutes longer than the end of the movie.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
I always thought they're both all right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Such different takeaways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else you want to talk about? Take
Oh, I
me through
mean,
it a little bit.
probably so much.
Well, of course.
That one guy fucks up big time, by the way. When he gets out of the helicopter, he drops the grenade and like kills his
Mhm.
buddy.
Oh
What
my
a
God.
fuck up.
I got
LVP, that guy.
I gotta say it was tough for me watching the 2011
Yeah.
version because I liked the character that was supposed to be, and it was
Mhm.
hard for me to like grow to enjoy that character and then think about how he dies in like the dumbest possible way. Like after surviving all this bullshit, he's just gonna fucking kill himself like an idiot.
Although that's not him, that's the pilot that comes to pick the guy up at the end. So the pilot has
Oh,
the
okay.
Butterfingers.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
But he'll die too. They murder him because they're like,
Yeah.
what's this fucking guy doing trying to kill this dog?
But this is the thing I love about Carpenter is that he manages to put a little bit of like slapstick comedy in the middle of like an otherwise super intense, serious scene because it's like there could have been some other way that those things could have exploded, but of course it's like it just slips out of his
It's a
hand
mistake.
because
Oh,
he's
Yeah.
got like big clunky gloves on, and then their helicopter is already filled with grenades and kerosene, so it goes up immediately.
Mhm.
So that makes sense. It's not like just a random Hollywood helicopter just blowing up. But yeah, I think it's great because and since he can't speak English and nobody speaks Norwegian, it's like that misunderstanding. All they see is this some crazy person with a gun. So of course we're gonna shoot him.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes total sense.
It's the American way.
Yeah, it really is. But I love the whole opening of this movie is awesome, I think. Except I guess you guys don't like the alien part. I mean, this
Yeah, I
whole
don't-
movie is awesome. I don't think there's a misstep at all. The
No,
whole way.
honestly, like that's my biggest problem with the movies, like the opening shot. After that, I think it's pretty fucking perfect.
Yeah, it is pitch perfect.
All right, so a dude gets shot in that scene,
Mhm.
and I gotta say, this guy, what a dork. Because later on, he's complaining he needs some rest because of his gunshot wound. And
Yeah.
in the other room, TK Carter, he's listening to Superstition by Stevie Wonder. All right, and then the fucking guy who got shot, he's like, "Turn off that crap."
He's
all
just
right.
mad.
Who calls Stevie Wonder crap?
He's just mad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He didn't mean it.
You can't get me that mad.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough, but he didn't mean it. I don't think.
I
No one
hope
could
not.
mean that. I agree with you.
Thank
I'd be
you.
like, crank up that Stevie.
Yeah.
Very superstitious.
I don't
That's
care if I got
right.
shot. Play that music.
Stevie would have been successful in this environment, I think. His senses are honed because of his blindness.
Yeah.
That-
And the
that's-
thing wouldn't want to be him
it's
because he
true.
can't see anything. He'd be like, he'd pop into him and be like, "Oh, I can't see anything," and then jump out immediately, go into somebody else.
Although
I
that would
assume
be a
that's how that
dead
works.
giveaway if Stevie got taken over by the thing, because they probably wouldn't have any concept of blindness, and it would just be like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah,
It's
he'd be
like,
tossing a football up in the air,
Yeah,
like,
it's a
"Hey
good
guys, what's up?"
Yeah. And they couldn't replicate his sunglasses because they're inorganic.
Oh,
Mhm.
great point. They'd be like,
Mhm,
"Yeah,
mhm.
that's a great call."
Thank you so much. All right, so at this point, it's like the dog wandering around. I think this is one of the great dog performances in any movie.
The great dog performance.
absolutely. Like all of the dogs do such a great job, but that main dog, it's like you can sense what he's thinking the whole time, and he's like the way he's like watching people. It's
The way it walks
wonderful
down that
directing.
hallway, it like peeks around the corner and then it
It
walks in.
stops. It
Yeah,
stops in the doorway before it I was gonna bring this up.
It
How
walks, it
does
looks
do
in the
that?
doorway, it stops, and then it walks again and it sees the shadow of that man sitting in there, and then it walks in that room. It's
Yeah.
amazing. That one section is like the greatest dog performance I've ever seen. It's
or
unbelievable.
even when he's changing in the kennel with the other dogs, it can just like stand really still while the other dogs are just dogs for a second.
Yeah. And like they're all freaking out, but our dog, the thing dog, he's calm. He's like in charge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. I mean, I guess I gotta give Carpenter credit for this, but like, how do you even do that?
The dog's
Dude,
name is
Carpen-
Jed. The
Carpenter
actor dog.
just picked
Shout out to him.
all the right people for this film, and I think that's one of its another one of its strengths is it's cast perfectly right down to the fucking dog. The special
Yeah.
effects, he picked the right people to do the special effects, picked the right person to do the soundtrack. He just knocked
Dean
it out of the
Cundy
park with
shot
every
it.
choice.
Yeah,
Dean Cundy.
Cundy he brought over from Halloween, and Rob Bottin does the Bottin. I don't know. He does the
Mhm.
special effects. He's great.
Yeah.
The cast was like up in the air for a long time. Like the studio didn't really want Kurt Russell. They were looking at other actors for that role, and Carpenter wasn't even sure about that, and he ended up sticking with Russell. Like I said, Donald Pleasance with the Wilford Brimley role. I read that Ernie Hudson was originally being looked at for the Keith David role.
Okay. You're doing good.
Yeah, might have been interesting. So it's like it's not really a case of a dude who's just like sure about everything, like knows exactly what he wants. It's just that all of the decisions he made along the way worked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he's just a genius, John Carpenter. He really is. He's
I
just one
kind of
those
think
geniuses.
so too.
I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. I think probably in my top 10.
Definitely.
It's fitting his name is Carpenter because I do think of him as like such a craftsman, a film
Mhm.
craftsman.
Right, and like Jesus.
Exactly
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
By the way, this dog
Chain
was White
smoking
Fang.
Jesus.
Do we know that? This dog was White Fang.
Well, good.
Really?
I've never
I mean,
heard
this
that
dog.
before.
Give this dog all the fucking roles. Like he
It's probably
knows
dead
what he's
now.
doing. No.
I assume it was 1982.
Yeah, I don't think dogs live that long,
Love,
man.
yeah, don't get to 40.
Well, at least we know that he goes to heaven because we all know.
They all do.
Yeah.
Was that a franchise
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
We can cover that.
But
All
be
right.
careful. I think that was like Land Before Time, where there's like a million ones you
Oh,
haven't heard
no.
of.
I'm not sure about that. I feel like there's maybe only 2 all dogs go to heavens.
Oh, well, that's what you think, and then you realize there are 12.
All right, you guys talk. I'll look it up.
Dude, like,
Okay.
did you know there's like 12 Land Before Time?
Yeah, I think there might be
I've-
more. I think there's like 35 Land Before Times.
when Henry and I first came up with the concept for the franchise, I remember saying that if we ever finish, like that'll be the last franchise we do. We'll close out with the Land Before Time, and I still kind of feel that way.
But that's a crazy thing to do because you're saying we're gonna finish in 4 months when we finish the Land Before Time. That's like saying we have to keep it up after we already say we're gonna be done. Would we have the heart after we already call it quits?
No, I'm saying like if we ever cover every franchise.
That you're saving that for last? We're
Yeah,
not gonna cover every
that's
franchise.
Well,
Like that'll just never
says
happen.
Well, you
Yeah.
never know. Depends on how long, long you
I
keep
think
this
there are
train
too many
rolling.
franchises. They keep coming out. We just had Smile 2 this year. They're gonna keep.
I
coming
believe in you
forever.
guys. You can do it.
All right, you can do it.
You can do it.
All right, so there's All Dogs Go to Heaven, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. There's an animated series, but we don't have to cover that. And then there's a Christmas version, All Dogs Christmas Carol. And that's it.
Oh.
So 3 and a show.
We should cover it, honestly.
We'll see. There's a lot more I'd rather cover before
Burt
that.
Reynolds is in the original.
Like Monsters
Wow.
Inc. That'd be better probably. With Tim. Because Tim has to take Monsters University. Better than Monsters Inc. What do you think, Aaron? You ever see Monsters University?
No, I've only seen Monsters Inc.
Oh,
Yeah, me
that's
too.
Like Daniel.
Yeah, like a
What
normal
are you guys,
person.
adults or something? You gotta
Yeah.
watch Monsters University. It's a great film.
Well, you're so young. You were probably like fucking 12 when that came out.
Yeah, it might have been.
I think that was right when I aged out of Pixar at the time where I'm like, I'm too old for this.
Mm.
And then Pixar started like making like other like more like adult enjoyable films.
Yeah, Inside Out was
I'm
right
back on the
after
train.
that.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like Coco and Luca.
Mhm.
Those
Yeah.
movies. Those are
Yeah.
for adults.
Luca. That was an
Yeah.
film?
That's for adults.
All
That's right.
All right.
They test their blood. That's a great part
Sure,
of the film.
sure. Yeah. Well, they first they go to that safe with all the blood in it, and someone
and it's
got in there.
gone.
Who the fuck got in there?
Only 2
And,
guys have the key. It's one of you 2.
That's right. It's either Wilford Brimley or Alice and Janney's dad from The West Wing.
Holy
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah,
It was
And-
one of them.
that's right. It's one of those two.
I love the
Um,
shot of Wilford Brimley when we go visit him that one time and he's tied a noose. You just see the noose
Oh
in
my
front of him.
god! Yeah,
And they don't mention it. They don't talk
I'm
about it.
okay.
at
I
all.
want to come back inside. I'm not.
Oh, he's
gonna
so
hurt
good.
you
He's
all.
so sad. You really feel it. He's
I
desperate.
need my diabetes medicine.
I think that every time I watch this movie. I mean, it's impossible to see Wilford Brimley without thinking about diabetes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Was he the guy that said that?
Oh yeah, that was like a big thing, I guess, when Aaron and I were kids.
I've
like
heard that. I
they
didn't know that
were
was him.
commercials for diabetes, and it was Wilford Brimley was like the spokesperson.
Wow. Okay, you just unlocked something for me.
And those commercials were everywhere. It seemed
Yeah,
like, yeah.
it
But
was like Sally Struthers for African kids and Wilford Brimley for diabetes. That was like every other
Mhm.
commercial when you'd watch like American Gladiators.
All right.
yep.
If I guess first before the blood test is the defibrillator part.
Which is fucking crazy. I forgot
So
that.
crazy. Yeah. You see what I forgot? I thought they were testing on him because they thought he was an alien. They're like, all right, let's try and do a test on him. But this is a guy, he just like fell back into a bookshelf, like fighting Kurt Russell when Kurt Russell like has the blowtorch or whatever. and they're just like checking on him because he had a heart attack or something,
Mhm.
like totally normal thing. And then the alien pops out. I totally forgot about that. It does take you by surprise
The
if you're not
alien
expecting it.
effects are so insane in this movie. Like, I don't even know how you begin to conceive of what these aliens look like. They're
Mhm.
so scary, and it's
Slimy.
yeah, it's honestly like the closest thing. Like, there have been a lot of H.P. Lovecraft adaptations that try to like do this like demon from another world kind of thing, and this isn't doing that technically, but having read a little bit of Lovecraft, like it's the closest to that I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, like the unseeable horrors or whatever.
Right.
The
Just completely unimaginable.
yeah. And no, it's just fucking brilliant. You never get a real sense of what this thing actually is, and which is
Mhm.
perfect because it's like it's a shape shifting. It's never supposed to have like a real like form, which I feel like a lesser film would have had it look like, a certain creature
A
and then
quiet
just
place monster or whatever.
yeah, exactly, and then morph into something else. Like when you catch it off guard, you see its true form.
Yeah,
And
right.
and they say the ice it's in is over 100,000 years old. So it's
Hmm.
it's like this ancient fucking otherworldly thing. And it really captures that. I mean that part where the fucking head sprouts spider
Oh,
legs.
you
Like,
forget
what are
that
we even
happens
doing?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It-
I love another reason why the characters are so great. It's just such a realistic reaction when is it Fucks or what the stoner
Fuchs.
guy Fuchs when
Yeah.
he's like
Fucks.
yeah,
Fucks.
F-U-C-H Futch
Yeah. Yeah.
when he sees it, like his reaction is like, you gotta be fucking kidding
Yeah.
me.
Like what the hell? Yeah, totally. It's not like screaming or anything. It's just like, oh
Yeah,
my
and
God.
no clever banter. That's exactly what I'd say if I saw
Yeah.
something like that. That and yikes.
Just horrified disbelief.
If it was
Yeah.
Marvel, it'd be like, who are you, my mother-in-law or something
Yeah,
like
Oh my
exactly.
god.
Yeah.
It's behind me, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, what else you got?
The blood test is cool though. I forget
We
there's like
did that.
well, we got there and then we backed out of it.
Okay.
But they do it and like I forget how many like the guy turns into the thing and then kills another guy in that scene. It's like a whole big thing. I forget that. I always think it's just like an intense scene, but it's like brutal. There's crazy gore there too.
It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. You ever see The Faculty?
Yeah.
That movie, like, people talk about how influenced by Body Snatchers it is because it references that movie like a million times, but like it's so the thing. Like,
Mhm.
which one to use an alien? Like, the thing, the blood test scene where like it turns out like the weed guy is the thing. It called to mind so much for me that fucking scene in The Faculty where they're all taking the drug.
The pen with like
Yeah, exactly. That like blew my mind.
and then
Uh,
that little sneaky trick that she does where she uses her
yeah, you see it
mythical
later
fingers to,
on.
like,
Oh,
You
empty
didn't
out the
see this at
pen.
the time. Every time I watch that scene, I try to see like, did she do it? Did she do the
Mhm.
thing? You can't really see though.
oh, clever.
Hmm.
Very clever. But
Anyway,
yeah, I mean, what else can we say without dissecting the whole film? But what I think this film does great is just building like true tension through like paranoia. It's like one of the best depictions of paranoia. And it's funny because I kind of real like I heard it when I was doing research for this. I found some interviews with Quentin Tarantino, and I knew I could already assume that the Hateful Eight was influenced by this because it takes a lot from this, like the like snowed in sort of isolation mixed with like paranoia of who's gonna do what, and even has Kurt Russell in it. Um,
It's true.
and I think they even used some of the B soundtrack that never made it into this film.
really?
Yes, if I
Oh,
remember
wow.
correctly, don't quote me on it, but that's also Morricone doing the score to that.
Yeah,
So I
won
knew
an Oscar, I believe.
yeah,
Whoa.
so I knew that was influenced, but then I heard Tarantino also took inspiration from this film to build all the tension in Reservoir Dogs. He said like this movie influenced him in the sense where I think the way he put it was like it's like a just tension just building up and like bouncing off the walls, and to the point where like it builds up so much that it has nowhere to go but like out into the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's my ultimate favorite type of movie is a bunch of people trapped somewhere together. And
Right.
but when you add to that, some of them might be bad guys, and we don't know who. Like that's it's brilliant.
Mhm.
Logan and I played a lot of Among Us during the pandemic. Did you ever play that?
I played it a couple times. I was never good at it, so I quit.
I
Daniel wasn't
loved
either.
it. Well, that's true, but I loved playing it. I
Just
don't
kidding.
need to be good at something for it to be fun.
Yeah.
But
Oh, not me. I have to be an expert at it, otherwise I give up immediately.
I, you might be joking, but I legitimately know people like that, that just like cannot have fun if they're like coming in last place in like fucking Mario Kart. Um, but I love that game, and it pretty much is this. That's all it's
Yeah.
doing. Even the one of the maps is like designed to be like the thing,
Oh,
right?
that's cool.
It's like
Yeah.
well, it was like a space station type thing.
Well, the first one was a space station, but then the second one was like an
There's
Arctic
snow?
base.
Oh wow, I
Yeah.
don't remember that one.
So I don't know. Like there's something to this concept that is so just appealing on a raw level that
course.
it's gonna be awesome. Like no
Yeah.
matter I've like even shitty versions of the thing are kind of awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Including the prequel?
I guess so. Yeah. Oh, you want to wrap up the thing?
Yeah, I guess we finished it. I want to say I never loved the ending part where it was always one of my least favorite part where Kurt Russell goes back in with the dynamite to try to blow it up. That whole little sequence at the end was never my favorite.
Yeah, but what are you gonna lose it?
No, I just when we got to that part, I remembered like, oh yeah, this is like my least favorite part.
No,
I just
I
want to
love
say
it.
that.
I love it because it gets that big final reveal of like the large one with like all the different like the dogs and the
Oh,
human faces
Mhm.
ripping off of it. It does have like just a couple seconds of like really shoddy stop motion animation when like the
Yeah, it's
tentacle
true.
comes up and picks up the dynamite plunger.
Yeah.
But
that's true. I sort of like that moment, but you're
yeah,
you're right. It does stand out.
Yeah,
but
it just stands out a little. But it's
yeah,
fine.
I don't know, man. Like I like I said, I think it's fucking perfect.
It is, it is.
I'm giving it a 5. You guys too?
Same.
All right,
Yeah, I have to.
MVP. Like, there's a million options. I love Wilford Brimley. I love Keith David, but I mean, Kurt Russell fucking rules in this movie.
Inarguably, with the runner up being that dog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good call.
Yeah. And when Kurt comes in and his like beard is frozen and his hair's frozen and because they turned out the power, there's no heat and
Mhm.
no one's ever looked cooler in a movie maybe than Kurt Russell in this movie.
He's
Yeah,
great. Kurt Russell did some of his best work with John Carpenter, and
I,
it
I think
shows.
his best work. I love
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, but like you can't tell me he has two better movies than Escape from New York and The Thing.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Fair enough.
But
fair
think
enough.
about how different he is in all those movies.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China is so much different from Escape from New York, which is so much different from this guy.
And
Really
I
cool.
feel like that's what people get wrong about Kurt Russell a lot. He's cast a lot in these like square jawed action hero type roles where he's just asked to be like leading man guy. But
Mhm.
John Carpenter understands that at his heart, Kurt Russell's kind of a character actor who just
Exactly.
happens to be really handsome. And so you cast him as the lead of the movie, but you give him a fucking character to play.
Yeah, he's always like a flawed hero, like especially Big Trouble in Little China, where he's essentially like the sidekick who thinks he's the lead of the movie.
Right. Or in
Uh,
Escape from New York, he only has one eye. That's a flaw. Big flaw.
That is a big flaw. He's like Nick
Word.
Fury. Breakdown's like one of those roles where he's just like a normal, boring guy. But that's an
I
awesome
know.
movie. So they make up
I
for
love
it
Breakdown.
by
I
making
think
that so cool.
Breakdown's my favorite Kurt Russell movie that's not a Carpenter movie, I think.
That's fair. He's really good in Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, he's good in
That's
that
my
too.
favorite role of his, probably performance.
Really?
Okay.
Outside of these.
Okay.
So
Oh, do I have a Kurt Russell?
I like his
ranking?
son too.
I do.
Wyatt Russell.
Oh
Wyatt
yeah, I
Russell's
like
cool.
Wyatt Russell too.
Cool.
Yeah,
A good Black Mirror episode.
my top 5 Kurt Russell movies on my ranking are all Carpenter or Tarantino. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
number 6 is Breakdown, and number 7 is Vanilla Sky. So I think we covered it great.
We did it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair. What about the Mr.
What about
Nobody, right?
Tombstone?
that's
Did you?
true. He's good in Tombstone. He's great as Mr. Nobody in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Great in Tango and Cash.
He's great in Stargate.
Okay.
He's
Blue? Something blue that Henry likes.
What?
something blue.
Blue.
Dark blue. Dark blue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, that's not what
yeah.
I'm thinking of. That's not what I'm thinking of.
How the hell is that not what you're thinking of? And also, how have you not brought up your favorite movie, Logan? Sky
Guardians of the
High.
Galaxy. Oh, Sky High. But he's also in the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Backdraft, he plays himself and his dad.
Oh,
Oh,
Miracle. He puts on a great performance in Miracle as like a Minnesota guy or whatever.
That's
He's the dad in Poseidon, a great film which we should cover. I love Poseidon. I think
Yeah.
that's an awesome movie.
And what about his incredible performance as Captain Ron?
Yep.
Captain Ron, I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could all just agree Kurt Russell is a solid actor.
Yeah, he fucking rules.
Oh, Dark Blue. You're totally right.
Do you have a 1982 list, Aaron?
No.
I meant to
didn't-
ask you to do that, but I forgot.
Do you want to just say which of our list is better?
Yeah.
Sure.
You
I
go
want
first
that.
or second, Daniel?
You go first, Logan.
Number 10, 48 Hours. That's a placeholder. Couldn't really get a great 10 in there. Number 9, First Blood is what that one's called. Number 8, Blade Runner. You could probably flip those. 7, Poltergeist, a great Steven Spielberg film. Number 6, The King of Comedy. Number 5, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. 4, Smithereens. 3, E.T. You maybe flip those two. 2, The Verdict. 1, The Thing.
By the way, I forgot that this was nominated for 2 Saturn Awards. Best horror movie, it lost to Poltergeist. And best visual effects, it lost to E.T. All right.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. And it was also nominated for a Razzie for worst musical score. And that award went to the Pirate movie, which I assume is a movie about pirates.
Mhm.
All right, here's my top 10, though. 1982, far superior to Logan's. Number 10, ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. Number 9, Paul Schrader's Cat People remake. Which, by the way, the original of that also much better than the original thing. Number 8, Poltergeist. Number 7, Fitzcarraldo, a film I believe Henry still has not seen.
Has Aaron seen Fitzcarraldo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
Great.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Number 6, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Number 5, Smithereens. Number 4, Fanny and Alexander by Bergman. Number 3, The Thing. Number 2, The Verdict. And number 1, The King of Comedy.
Oh, wow. Straight up. That's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Bold.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my list is better.
I side with Daniel a little more on this. So,
That's
but
fair.
some honorable mentions: Slumber Party Massacre,
Oh, yeah.
Pieces, which is
That's a fun horror movie.
Have you ever seen fucking Pieces? Like,
Yeah.
I would highly recommend it. It's absolutely batshit crazy. Basket Case.
Yeah, it's honestly
A
a
lot of
really
horror.
good horror year. Creep
This is-
Show that year too, and Alone in the Dark with Donald Pleasance.
Absolutely stacked. Tenebrae or Tenebrae, like however you pronounce it, that Argento film. Like it was quite the year for horror.
Yeah.
Friday
But
the
also-
13th and Halloween 3. Both of those.
Oh,
third
Halloween
installments.
3. Halloween 3 is one of my favorites just because it's just so fucking wacky and different.
Mhm.
It's great. Here, I'll throw a few out there. Tex, White Dog, Eating Raoul, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Death Trap, and Diner. Those are all great 1982 films. Okay.
Okay. We covered
Yeah.
it. Got a lot of 82.
Yeah. what a
Rocky
year.
3. How'd no one say Rocky 3? Shout out to the
Not a
Hulkster.
single person said Rocky 3.
That's crazy.
Inexcusable. No one said Grease 2 either, or
Well,
Death Wish 2.
Mhm.
All right, let's move along here.
yeah. Yeah. Did we say LVP? Who's your guys' LVP?
Oh God, that's
I'm going
tough,
that guy who
actually.
dropped the bomb at the beginning. He really fucked up. He
Great
killed his
job.
buddy.
That's the answer.
Because no
for
actor
sure.
is
Yeah.
bad at all.
No, that's the hardest part. I tried thinking about that yesterday too when I watched it, but it has to be that guy because he's got very little screen time and he fucks up royally. But
Yeah. Way to fucking blow it, asshole. Literally.
Literally, yeah.
Mm. All right. So there's no one cared about this movie when it came out, but people liked it later, and then finally, like no one ever discussed sequelizing this. Like this was not a franchise idea at all, and until around 2004. That's when this started getting discussed. The fellas that produced Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, that was a big hit, and they were like, what other old movies can we fucking cannibalize? And so they started
I Am Legend. We did that one.
well, but these specific producers.
Oh,
all right. So like they went into the archives, they saw The Thing, and they're like, let's do that. So they were already working on a sequel to their Dawn of the Dead remake, which was called fucking Army of the Dead, which is that movie that got made by Zack Snyder. I didn't realize that was originally planned as like straight up Dawn of the Dead sequel.
Right.
But that you know, because once it came out, it wasn't officially part of the Dead.
Why not? Why doesn't it count?
I don't know.
Decided doesn't count.
I guess so. Yeah, like they created their own little universe for it, like where the rules can be different. I guess. But
you ever see that, Aaron? Army of the Dead.
I did not.
It's bad.
That's what I heard. That's why I hadn't seen it.
Yeah. So at the time, Zachy Boy was just going to be writing that movie, and it was going to be directed by this Dutch commercial director called Matthias van Heiningen Jr. All right. So they were already in touch with this guy. And Army of the Dead back then apparently went into production already. And it got canceled 3 months into production.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
So I don't know. Maybe it
just felt like it
sucked. But so they had this guy like under contract. So they're like, do you want to do a Thing movie? It's like, yeah, that's like my favorite movie. Let's do it. And they hired this fellow Ronald D. Moore to write the script. He is the creator of the Battlestar Galactica film the TV show of the 2000s. Aaron, do you remember my take on that?
I don't remember your take on that. What is
that?
that?
No. I remember your friend and mine, Alex Halajian, used to make fun of me all the time because I made the mistake of one time saying to him that Battlestar Galactica is an allegory for the war in Iraq. And so after that, Alex would constantly ask me if things were allegories for the war in Iraq.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff.
Well, Alex is getting a lot of shout outs in this episode.
Yeah, we got to have Alex on. Whoever Alex is.
I haven't talked to Alex in fucking forever. I mean, would he come on?
I don't think he's ever been on.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah,
this would be his first time.
I loosely keep in touch with him. He's living in DC now, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. With his wife, daughter, and a couple
dogs.
Yeah.
A couple frogs, did you say?
Bulldogs.
Oh, bulldogs. Wow, that's crazy.
He's in DC. And you only loosely keep in touch with him? You lived together when I knew you.
Yeah. You know,
how often do you and Henry talk?
That's fair.
No, did you say loosely?
Me and Henry keep in touch loosely. By when I say loosely, we text from time to time, but it's like me and Henry have been playing not phone tag, but hey, we should talk sometime tag for quite a while.
Keep putting it off.
I got that going with Henry too.
Yeah.
Henry doesn't love talking on the phone though, and I don't either. And so that's a real fucking challenge to our friendship.
So we should get him on the podcast.
Is Alex married to anyone I know?
No.
Okay, that's good.
That's always
Um,
crazy when you find that out. Like,
Mhm.
whoa, those
Yeah.
two married? Whoa, holy shit.
I think I thought he was still in Arizona or something.
No.
Was he ever?
He was, yeah. He was living there for a while, and then I forget exactly what happened. But he ended up moving. Oh, I think he like him or his wife, like they started like managing like at Trader Joe's, and they were given an offer to like open up a new store in DC or something like that. There
Oh,
was
wow.
some like
That's what
some
he's
weird
doing.
coincidence.
He runs a Trader Joe's
Or
in
his wife.
DC?
He said him or his wife.
Yeah, I think his wife, or at least they did for a bit. But I know Alex is like still like slaying it with his little like cartoon drawings, and he's DJing and all sorts of crazy stuff.
That's
Wow.
not funny. Is it still called that?
Yeah. I think his
That-
DJ name is DJ Snot Funny.
That's hilarious, man. Dude, he was one of the funniest dudes I've ever met in my life. That comic strip, that's not funny.
Yeah.
Look, for like years after like I didn't talk to Alex anymore, I would still go look up that comic strip and read it. I still reference it sometimes. I was telling my girlfriend recently about one that it was just like two dudes, and one of them goes, here's an important question. Who's better, Aphex Twin or Square Pusher? And that for some reason that stuck with me as like a hilarious joke. All right, let's get into the thing. 2011.
All right.
So
So
I did an interesting thing with this time watching it. This is the first time I tried watching it in plot chronological order. So I actually watched this before John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, we all
wow.
watched them in different ways.
Wow,
then.
you did it. It's like a Phantom Menace thing.
Yeah. So got some notes on that. But anyways,
Okay.
continue with I guess the summary of the
All right. Yeah, I mean, so it's finally made in 2011. It was supposed to come out in the spring of 2011, but they mandated a bunch of reshoots, and part of that was that originally all the creature effects were going to be practical.
Mhm.
And the studio said it looks too old fashioned, and they made them change it to CGI, and it wasn't a good choice. I mean, no matter how bad the fucking practical effects looked, I'm sure they were better than the CGI bullshit.
The problem with this is that it was Amalgamated Dynamics, which was the company started by Stan Winston, and they're like they do great shit. No, I got so passionate I kind of drooled there for a second.
Stan Winston's the Starship Troopers guy, right?
I gotta look up what he's done. He's done pretty much. Or I'll do specific. He did like Terminator 2.
Liquid Metal.
Yeah, hold on. I'll find exactly what he's done, but you'll recognize pretty much everything on there. But like Amalgamated Dynamics, I think worked on Predator. Yeah, Stan Winston, Jurassic Park, Predator, Aliens. Yeah,
It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's all pretty good.
It's like the best stuff there is.
Pumpkinhead. Yeah, it's like
I fucking love Pumpkinhead.
His basically his company, Amalgamated Dynamics, did all the visual effects for it, and it'd be one thing that if it was like a shitty company and you could tell it was going to be bad special effects, but it was a great company, and when you see the actual like practical effects they use that were cut out of the film, they look fucking amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the single most glaring error with this film was that they used so much CGI, and the CGI was terrible. Like
the CGI is awful. Like the whole movie is like a fucking demonstration for why CGI is worse than practical effects. Like it's not even a movie. It's I fucking that stuff drove me insane. All right, whatever.
especially because The Thing 82 is probably the greatest practical effects movie of all time.
Yeah.
And then this is
yeah.
one of the worst CGI movies of all time.
And it's what it's remembered for. Like if you remember nothing else about the thing, like what is it about aliens? Like is there a paranoia thing? Wait, it's in the Arctic, I guess. Like the one thing you remember for sure is that's that movie with crazy great practical effects.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that's what people are looking for. Like I can't imagine going to the theaters to see a Thing prequel and being happy with this as the
Well, they
product.
weren't. Nobody was.
And it's frustrating because they filmed a lot of it with the practicals.
Yeah, I was
And
reading
that's
that
the worst part.
Oh
after
man.
the Snyder cut of Justice League came out, like and it made money on DVD and shit, like people were saying like they need to release more, director's cuts of things that got fucked up. And
Right.
one of the main ones that people were pushing for was this movie, like the
That'd be
practical
cool.
effect version of this movie. Yeah,
I'd love
I'd
to
love
see
that.
yeah.
I'd watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Now,
It's the
I mean,
only way you'd get me to rewatch this.
yeah, it's not going to fix the acting or the writing.
I mean, is
Is
the
the acting
acting
that
really bad?
I feel like it's hard to
Some of
know
it.
these people because they're from a different country. So I just
Yeah,
let 'em
I
have it.
can't really tell the Norwegians apart. But like other than that, like you got some good actors in this. Mew.
Mew,
Yeah, you got Mew.
you got fired up guy.
Oh, actually that he sucks.
He's pretty bad, but I love him.
I know. Every time he turned up, I was like, "You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?" But because he's the kid in Dumb and Dumber. He plays a
Right.
Jim Carrey part.
Yeah.
But
Joel Edgerton.
you got Joel. Yeah. How about Mr. Echo?
Okay, whatever
Huh?
that is.
Mr. Echo from Lost. Aaron, were you a Lost watcher?
no.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
I
Aaron-
love the pilot, and I started watching it, and something
pilot died.
sidetracked me, and I got too far behind, and I couldn't jump in. And same thing with Game of Thrones, where like I started watching it, fell behind, and then never caught up.
I get it.
There's a Throneser in this movie.
Is there?
Yeah.
Who's the Throneser?
Now I'm forgetting his name. Is he Christopher Hivju?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Christopher Hivju. He was from Force Majeure, that Ruben Östlund movie.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
He's in Game of Thrones.
I didn't know he was Game of Thrones, but I always notice him in movies because he looks like this wrestler I like, Buddy Matthews.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so I point him out.
He's
What do
in
you say?
Fast
I
and
just assume-
Furious.
I just assume every movie has at least one person from Game of Thrones in it nowadays.
It
Yeah, that's
really
fair.
does, honestly, and it's always the worst one.
Mhm.
It's like whoever I give LVP to in a movie, I look them up, and it turns out they were in like 12 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I saw a basketball game the other day. RJ Barrett hit a shot and he turned around, looked in the crowd, and it was that Christopher, whatever that guy's name is. He has like 3 names or whatever. I think I said Christopher because that's this guy's name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But he
Yeah.
turned around and saw him, and RJ Barrett was like, Game of Thrones. Holy shit. It was so funny. It was hilarious.
Oh God.
He was
Game
in like
of
the other
Thrones.
woman.
It's
that
never
Cameron
gonna
Diaz movie.
stop. It's never gonna
Mhm.
fucking stop. The House of the Dragon now. There's
Let
a
them
new
be stars. It's
Dune
fine.
TV show that people are saying is just like Game of Thrones in space.
Let people have their fun.
They can.
There's
They
a thing
can.
for everybody. It's not for
Yeah.
you.
Thing.
They love it.
I've heard of this guy. Adewale Akinowe Agbaje.
That's Mr. Echo.
Oh, that's him. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
For fuck's sake.
Aaron, we should start a Lost podcast. Me and you, we've never seen it. And I just said that to upset Daniel. But what about
No.
us 3? Daniel's seen it. Me and you, we've never seen it. We'd be like 2 dummies. But then
Lost
Daniel
and lost.
can show us the ropes.
Listen,
Lost
Aaron,
and Lost,
You,
what is it?
you ever give me the fucking green light to fucking start that podcast? I've never been more fucking in.
When I get a good chunk of time off that I want to
Yeah.
to this, I'm in.
Okay. All right. We'll just nail it down.
Hell
So
yeah.
we liked Adewale. You liked him?
Love him.
Okay.
He's great,
All right.
even though he left Lost kind of suddenly.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Well, don't spoil us. We'll get there eventually.
yeah, I guess so.
But Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's the reason to watch.
Well, you love Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I love her too, but I kind of think she's not great in this movie. She's all right. She does the job,
Mhm.
but I've definitely seen her like hold the screen more. Like she never really captured me, and it's probably a writing thing. It's just the character's not very interesting.
Yeah.
But you
It just
know,
seems very out of character when she like goes from just being like a timid paleontologist or however you
I
pronounce
don't
that.
know. She's a yeah.
So all of
She's
a
a
sudden being like this badass, like I'm taking control of everything. I'm in charge now. It's like
Yeah.
okay.
no.
I
It's
guess because everyone
literally
died, she had no
she
choice,
she
maybe.
like turns from Terminator Sarah Connor to Terminator 2 Sarah Connor like halfway through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It felt a little
Done.
unearned, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe the paranoia at the moment forced her to into that situation.
Yeah, it unlocks things inside you don't know is there. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
She
turns you
really
into a real
took
leader.
charge, man. Once she came up with that thing about everybody's fillings,
Yeah.
Oh my
like
god, I hated that
everybody
scene.
really deferred to her. Yeah, and like I don't have fillings.
Nope.
Yeah,
So,
so you'd
so
be
I'm like,
dead.
I would have been on the fucking chopping block in that scene.
Just
Me
fucking
too.
kill your ass. Yeah, I like to fire it up. Was like, what? I flossed, so now I'm gonna die. What is this? What is
Yeah.
this? I hate this.
I'm poor. I can't afford fillings. Anytime
Um,
I had a fucked up tooth, I just had it removed.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, they would know then. I think that's enough. The teeth being gone would be like, oh, you got it replaced or something. I think a
Uh,
tooth being gone would be the same as a filling. They would know you had like some dental surgery.
What about
maybe.
tattoos? Do you think tattoos would have been another
Great call.
giveaway?
That's a good
I do.
question.
I think so. I do think
That's
so.
something you'd have to deal with now because everyone has tattoos.
Yeah,
Right.
so that'd be easy to find out in that sense nowadays.
Yeah, like if Jared Leto's Joker was the thing, all of a sudden, like there's no tattoos on his face,
Yeah.
and
Damage.
you could really figure it out.
That's
You guys
right.
see? I have a cat.
Aw.
Hello. Say
You should
hello.
get a tattoo of that cat.
Of the cat. Well, on my.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tattoo this right here on my
Oh,
impact.
that is a fucking cute cat logo.
It is a
Very
cute
cute
cat.
cat. His name's
What-
Gizmo. Say hello, Gizmo.
Aw.
Oh, like
That's a cute name.
Gremlins.
All right, don't get off the table.
Don't feed him after midnight.
Yeah, I never do.
All right. Where were we?
So
don't
yeah,
know.
basically this
Thing.
film is a remake, or no, not a remake. We thought it was going to be a remake, but turns out to be a prequel of the John Carpenter's.
Mhm.
I actually got excited about it watching John Carpenter's thing because I was like, it kind of does lend itself to a prequel.
It's true.
There, that whole stuff back at the other camp with the Norwegians and the heads that are like fused together. You see at one point, like I was interested to know more about that, but none of the answers were surprising in any way. It was just sort of it kind of just felt like we were going through the motions of like this is what happened over there.
I don't need answers, really. Just another story of the alien here would be fine if there were better characters and if it didn't look like shit. I think
Yeah.
those are the real
Okay.
problems for me.
And it was supposed to be like a Norwegian camp, and they obviously didn't want to have a fully
I
Norwegian
know.
cast, which I think would have made it much better. But
I kind of agree. I feel like it should have been all Norwegian, like, or maybe Mary Elizabeth Winstead is like the one non-Norwegian.
yeah,
But it's like you got Joel Edgerton and Mr. Echo. It's like there's like it turns out like the Norwegian camp only had like 3 Norwegian dudes there.
yeah, and one of the Norwegians from the first film just showed up at the very last second in the helicopter.
True.
So yeah, I don't know. Some of it felt kind of tacked on at the end. I do like that they did pay a lot of attention to some of the subtle details, like the room where they go to the Norwegian camp and they find like the empty sheet of ice where the alien was first being kept. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
remember there being a
details like
jump
that.
scare in that
I
scene.
think there's
though,
like
right?
there's an axe in the wall where like Joel Egerton like chops a thing in it, and then when you see John Carpenter's the thing when they're walking through there, they see the same axe in the wall.
Great call.
Yeah, but it's like there's so much of that it's
Yeah.
not even a movie at this point. Like it's just
Yeah.
like somebody
Well, you don't know
went-
unless you know. I think that's fun.
And
it felt to me like someone just like went through the thing and was
Mhm.
like everything we can do. Like,
But
we're
that's
gonna
the job
throw
of
in
writing
here.
one of these movies. Is you have to
I
do
know,
it
and that's
properly.
why these movies are so fucking disposable.
Mhm.
You have a podcast called The Franchise.
I know,
though.
but
It's
if
like-
there's one thing I've learned about doing the podcast, the franchises suck.
it's true, it's true. But let's not make every episode so negatively. Like,
I guess. Just real quick, this movie cost $38 million. It made $31.5 million.
Oh, no.
So it lost money. Came out October 14th, 2011. It came in at number 124 at the box office for that year between Apollo 18
and a horror film.
Yeah, and Young Adult.
Okay.
And it was nominated for 2 Saturn Awards. They had combined horror to horror and thriller at this point. I think they've since
separated them.
Yeah, separated them. But this was nominated for horror / thriller, and it lost to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Fincher version. And it was nominated for best makeup and lost to X-Men First Class, because I guess they like to imagine them like painting the blue on Jennifer Lawrence.
Right. They're like, we promise under the CGI there's a lot of makeup. We promise. Don't worry.
Right.
Because I didn't see any makeup.
Well, I mean, they could have just been talking about
Mary Elizabeth's makeup.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton's makeup.
It's like a fair point. Yeah. By the way, Aaron, you say Edgerton?
I don't know. Egerton.
Oh, you don't have a preference?
Because there's no
tomato,
D.
tomato.
No, I get it. I used to say Egerton because there's no D. The D is what makes edge. The word edge has Egerton. A D in it. All right. So that you expect a D to make that sound. But his name is just Egerton.
No, it's no. Actually, there is a
D.
There's a fucking D in it.
Of course, there is.
I might have just mispronounced.
Because is it Edgerton or Edgerton? It's always been the question, you know. To me, I think I've settled on Edgerton.
You're right. It straight up has a D. That's Edgerton.
Quite the edgelord.
Yeah.
Great job.
You might be thinking of the other guy who played.
That should be his podcast.
The other Egerton.
Oh, I don't know.
Who?
There's Eccleston.
No, come on. The guy who played Rocket Man.
Oh, I think that is what I'm thinking of.
Taron
Edgerton.
You might be thinking of that guy,
yeah. All right. So here right away the movie frustrates me, all right? Because I watched this like right after I watched the Carpenter version. And they say it takes place in 1982. I'm like, great, that's the year. And it starts with these dudes, and the actors are clearly wearing fake beards.
No.
Yes, they are. And for the rest of the movie, it's real beards. All right. But these actors, they're only in this one scene.
Okay.
All right. So instead of casting actors with beards, they cast these actors and popped some beards on their faces. It drove me insane because I just got through watching the 82 version. All the men in that movie, they look like men. You know, men used to be men, guys. And now I'm watching this movie. It's just a bunch of fucking actor guys with fake beards. It drove me insane.
I didn't catch that, but that's a fair criticism.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The director probably said, "Do you have beards?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then they showed up and they're like, "Well, you don't have beards." And they were like, "Oh, I thought you meant a wife to cover up for us being gay."
That's good. I
thought that's what you meant. My bad. So they're like, "We're already hired, so just put this on."
I said that to like a young person recently. I made a joke about someone having a beard, and they didn't know what I was talking about. Is that something like young people don't know about?
Maybe I can imagine people younger than me wouldn't really know what that is.
Well, there's no need for a beard nowadays because
no one's hiding anything.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You probably only know it because you watched a lot of Seinfeld growing up, Logan.
I didn't. I binged it all in like 2020.
Oh,
I didn't know any Seinfeld until a few years ago.
But now you've watched it all.
I'd always heard Hugh Jackman had a beard. I think that might have been the first time I ever heard the term beard.
You probably heard it on this podcast.
No, I think my mom was always like, Hugh Jackman's gay. He has a beard.
I still believe that.
A lot of people.
Sorry.
Well, he recently got divorced, so I don't think he has a beard anymore.
No, but he's like dating someone like famous now, isn't he?
I don't know. Last I heard, he was getting a divorce.
Well, he divorced his beard, but now it's not like he's now with a dude. Like he's dating someone. Like
He just has like a goatee or something.
Yeah.
That's why they call your girlfriend. You're not quite.
That's fun.
Oh, he has like a Fu Manchu.
He's with Sutton Foster.
Okay, I've heard of that.
He's like a Broadway lady. She was in Bunheads.
Okay.
All right, everybody remember the great show Bunheads?
Nope.
All right, well I do.
Is it like a Princess Leia
Oh,
like
good call.
spinoff?
Yeah.
No, it was about ballet dancers. You know, they all put their hair in buns.
Okay.
Mm. I watched it. It was on ABC Family.
All right.
Whatever. All right, let's move along. What happens after the fake beards?
Oh, I don't remember.
They discover this spaceship, which is pretty well. I guess it's pretty big in the other films, but yeah, it just seems. I don't know. It doesn't seem very realistic because again,
No, it looks
very
visible
CGI.
from fucking space. Like
Yeah.
it is so huge. How did no one miss? Like we just missed this for 100,000 years.
And they fell down a big chasm at the very beginning, and it's like, how did those guys get out of the big chasm? They would have died for sure. But they
I feel
kinda
like I had a problem with that at the end of the movie where Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Joel Edgerton like defeat the movie. And I was like, all right, now how are they going to get out of the ship? And then cut to them in the snow. I was like, what
Yeah,
the
they
hell?
just
They
drive
completely
out.
skipped that whole thing. I was wondering how they got
show
out.
them in
though.
like a fucking ski-doo, and it's like they drive from the UFO to the surface somehow.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Guys, Joel Edgerton turned out to be an alien. That was a fun twist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
'cause
had the wrong earring.
Yeah.
They were really building him up as like the MacReady of this film. Like it seemed like
Mhm.
they were really putting him in the Kurt Russell sort of archetype. But then
Yeah.
that's the twist at the end. He put his earring in the wrong ear.
Oh, huge fuck up.
Ugh, what an idiot.
Yeah.
What does that mean though? Like, does that mean this ear was not even pierced and he pierced
Yeah,
it?
he only had one pierced ear.
But that
And
means he
Not the gay
self-pierced it?
one.
Right, that is a thing. I don't know which
No,
one's
he
supposed
didn't.
to
He
be.
didn't. She goes, you know how I knew you had an earring. And then he just grabbed one of his earlobes, like as though it was like
I thought he had the earring in the wrong ear.
I thought that's
No.
what it was, because he was
Oh.
driving back and he had it in the other side. I thought she said it was the other ear, and then she lights him on fire.
So he pierced his own
Oh.
ear, like putting it in there?
I think so. I think he tried to be one step ahead of the game.
Holy shit.
That's
And
great.
I
fucked up.
could be wrong. I mean,
That's
you
how
know,
I read it.
let me know if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, let us know.
But yeah, wow. I mean, where
I thought that was kind of cool though, ending.
No,
When they-
I agree. It's the only other thing I remembered about the movie other than the fake beards, and I watched it yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess so.
And the fillings.
The
Yes,
fillings. Really didn't
I
like
think that was a good alternate test. I'm glad they didn't do the exact same like
True.
test to see who's real or not. But man, yeah, I didn't feel as invested in any of these characters. So when they changed,
No.
I was like, okay. They tried doing some like little like fake outs, like with the whole thing in the helicopter where you think it's gonna be the one guy who's all shell shocked from witnessing
Oh,
his friend
true.
get killed, and it ends up being the other guy.
His face like separates.
Bad. But that's like the first shot of like awful CGI.
Yeah,
His
you're like,
face
uh-oh.
separates.
Yeah, that looks like shit. It is kind of a fun twist, but you're so distracted by the bad CGI that like you don't even give a shit.
And I've got a question. So, I mean, and that's also another scene to kind of set up the same sort of paranoia sort of scene where Kurt Russell comes in from the cold and they don't know whether he's the thing or not. But what happened to that thing that was on the helicopter when they crashed? They never go
Yeah.
back to investigate it. Like that one's just
That's a
assumed-
good. Well, I guess it becomes Joel Edgerton, right?
Oh yeah, I guess that's the resolution as we learn it's him later on.
Okay. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
because we just see it sort of crash in the distance, and then next thing we know, like Joel Edgerton and Mr. Echo show up back.
But
at
then
the
that
camp.
means that character goes like 30 minutes without trying to kill anybody. Without like exposing that he's the guy. Does the thing usually do that? Just like hide?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it does when it's able to like perfectly mimic somebody. It's just we keep like catching it in like half stages.
Oh, okay. That's
We just
fair,
need
yeah.
a couple scenes where he's like, you catch a glimpse of him going like,
Yeah. Yeah, we don't get
You're
that.
in for a surprise.
What about the dog? It's hanging around camp as that dog for a long time before it does anything.
Mhm,
Did the dog
that's
die?
true.
I don't remember.
Which
Hope not.
dog? In this
Dog
one?
in the movie, yeah.
I mean, it does in in Carpenter's. One
I'm not
dog
talking
gets shot
about-
in the fucking chest. I hated that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
They say that someone went and killed all the dogs.
Oh, they do
At one
say
point.
that. Yeah. But
Hmm.
the dog at the end of this movie just sort of escapes. It's like I guess we got it. There's no one left in camp, and we're both not the thing. And then the dog jumps out. It's like, ain't I a stinker? And it leaves. Oh shit, we gotta follow that fucker.
I
Yeah.
do like at least that they tried to tie it together and they took some steps. At least they took some steps to like make it try kind of sort of work. It's a neat idea, but just some of the execution was kind of lame. And I honestly wanted to hear the story. Like one of the most like striking, terrifying images of the first or of John Carpenter's The Thing when they're first going through the Norwegian base. Like the first body they come across is that one guy who had his wrist slit. I think
Mhm.
his neck slit too, which I don't know how you do that.
And the blood is frozen.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think that's such a great
yes.
image, but you never get that person's story. They just do kind of a quick like when they're doing the recap scene, like right before the credits, they just show that person for a split second, and I don't even
I
remember
know.
who that was supposed to be. I wish it had more drama to that. I would like to know what like see that person being like, I'm fucked. Like there's no hope left.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's one of these prequels where all you're doing is connecting the story. Like you're given backstory in the first movie, and so we film it for this movie, and it doesn't really add anything or take anything away. It just sort of is. Like I've heard people say like they should make a prequel. I think this was in development for a minute. They were doing a prequel to Jaws that was like
Oh man.
the story that he tells of like being like on that ship
Oh,
and
the
then
Indianapolis.
the Indianapolis, yeah.
Right.
And it's like I guess you can make that movie, but is it really going to add anything that you didn't hear in that story, that
Right.
monologue in Jaws?
What you
Yes.
gotta do is you gotta have it be about the baby shark, and you could even add that song in the
Baby
credits,
shark,
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
or better get in the trailer. It's a dark, moody baby shark,
Oh yeah.
Like the Beetlejuice.
and then we see the shark was
trailer.
just a normal shark, but his parents were just like terrible rednecks, and he wants to be like a good shark, but through his parental abuse, he becomes a bad shark.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
he's acting out. And then
Yeah.
that'll give a little redemption arc to Jaws because no villain is allowed to be a full villain anymore.
Right.
Mhm.
I think to your point, I think that Indianapolis movie could be good if it was executed well, which is my thing about this movie. I don't think making a prequel like exactly what the prequel should be is a problem. I just think if it looked cool, I would like it. I just didn't like it because it looked bad and
But
none of the
it's
characters
never
were good.
it's never going to come close to like I feel like the reason to make a
I see it's
prequel or a
pointless. I see that.
sequel is to like top the original in some way. Like that used to be the goal. And like there's just no way. This is so reverential to the John Carpenter version that it's just all it is like let's make a few bucks. We'll do like a shitty version of like,
Right.
I just think they picked the
Right.
wrong director because I don't think he was comfortable enough with the practical visual effects team and like knowing probably the resources and the time management to make that stuff happen. Where I think he just panicked at the last second. It's just
and
like,
it's his first
cover-
film.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Like so like whatever the studio is gonna like ask of him, like another director might have like stood tall and been like, no, we're not.
What about Guillermo?
Yeah, I mean,
I think he would have been the guy that could have.
What about
done
Zack
something with it.
Snyder? You think Zack Snyder could have done a better version?
Sure. That'd be fun.
It would have been a little bit better, but man, it would have been.
But
pretty
what if this
ridiculous.
guy had something going and like his version is good, but this CGI thing that he had to go over is what ruined it?
But what I'm
We'll
saying
never
is
know.
like a more experienced director might have just said to the studio, I'm not doing that.
I
Right.
think that's probably what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys give this one?
Wait, one more thing I gotta say
Oh,
about
please.
just the last point. It was like what I mentioned about the pilot when they finally go into the spaceship, which yet again is ridiculous how she even gets inside the spaceship. At the end, and the biggest cover up that you can tell that they were just like panicked at the last minute and was like, just put it in CG is when they show her discovering the pilot. And like I mentioned earlier, it just looks like a bunch of fucking Tetris blocks, like
Mm-hmm.
pixels just moving.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw this movie, or maybe first time I saw a portion of it, I just remember seeing that thing and it just looked out of place. But if you go and like Google what the pilot actually looks like, the practical thing looks fucking incredible. It's got all these weird like eyeballs and like tentacles and shit.
Yeah.
They had a fucking practical effect that they shot, at least partially shot, and at the last second they covered up with like one of the worst looking visuals I think I've seen in any movie.
And
It's true.
they
It's
know
actually
it.
true.
Like I read an interview with the directors where he says like it was a last second cover up and you can tell.
Yeah.
The director said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's aware. But
Yeah.
I would love to see that other version.
This was written, by the way, by Eric Heiserer, who goes on to write Arrival. Gets nominated for an Oscar for that. So, like,
Okay.
I mean, say what
There
you
you
will.
go.
Yeah. Anyway, I was sort of expecting to be more in like the 3 range with this. I have a lot of friends that speak highly of this movie, and I was not enamored of it at all. I'm gonna give it a 2.
I
That's
agree.
a 2 for me too.
Yeah, me too. One other thing, though, you mentioned Kurt Russell was in Sky High. For the prequel, they got another Sky High actor, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Good
She's
point,
the villain
man.
in Sky High. Spoiler alert! That's a plot twist.
Yeah, that's a twist. my
Sorry,
friend.
guys.
Mhm.
But that's very cool. Shout out to
Yeah,
them. That has to be
great.
intentional by
That
Matisse Van.
I'm not sure that has
Jr..
to be intentional.
It has to be intentional. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
You'd have to be out of your mind to not believe that's intentional.
Is she your MVP?
She is
Logan?
my MVP.
Yeah, I would think so. What about you?
I guess it has to be her.
Yeah, who
Throughout.
else would it be?
Yeah.
Not Edgerton?
No, I didn't give me enough.
No, she didn't give me enough. Like I really didn't like Eric Christian Olsen.
Me too. He's my
or,
LVP.
or Mr. Echo. I didn't like him either.
He's just sort of generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of the characters really popped for me, but yeah,
And that might be
Mary-
the biggest problem in the movie. Like I like that there was a second girl, but then
Yeah.
she gets aliened pretty fast.
Immediately, almost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so she goes away.
It's true.
All right, who's your MVP, LVP?
MVP Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
You're going Winstead. All right. Yeah, I guess I will too. Who cares? And
No, my
LV
LVP is the CGI. That was just my. I think fix that and I'd like it more.
All right. I'll go with Lloyd Christmas.
All right.
Uh,
fair.
I mean, realistically, it would be the CGI. But if I had to pick someone, I for some reason Eric Christian Olsen kind
I
of
can't even do
as
that.
bad.
I can't do it to him. I love him too much.
Why
no,
do
no.
you just because you love fucking Fired Up?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Fired Up.
He's off limits. You
Off
can't-
limits.
Oh my
He's also
God.
funny in Community. Britta
Is he?
likes
I don't
him
even
with it.
remember him being in
I
Community.
think Britta. No, not Britta. The other one liked him. Might have been
Annie?
Britta. No, I think it was Britta. One of them liked him. I don't know.
All right.
So maybe Paul Bronstein. He's the guy whose face went and like looked dumb.
Okay. Yeah.
Paul
I don't think it's
Bronstein.
Paul's fault though.
Well, maybe it is. How
That
do
just
you know?
goes with your CGI as the LVP.
Oh, he's in Jigsaw.
Oh, we
He's
covered
One of
that.
the guys in Jigsaw. So there you go.
What's your favorite Saw, Logan? I mean, Aaron. Sorry.
Yeah, have you seen them all?
I haven't seen them all, but I've seen a few of them. I liked the first one holds up. I liked the one where I think probably 2. Is that the one where it's a group of people stuck in the house,
Mhm.
and they have to go through the traps and
The needles. She gets
They're
thrown in
off-
a pit of needles.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember liking that one.
Yeah. A lot of people think that's the
Um,
best one.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When you heard the title Spiral Book of Saw,
Mhm.
did you think that there was a Saw cult?
Yes.
You did.
No, when I was hearing you guys talk about that on the podcast, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I think when I did hear that, I was thinking like, oh, there's got to be more, kind of more to it. Because
Yeah,
it's a
I thought there
book.
was going to be a lot of lore.
Yeah. Or yeah,
I
at
thought that
least
too.
lore. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that, but I think you hearing that made you think that all 7 prior movies were about the cult as well,
Yeah.
which they're not.
The Pigmask cult.
The Pig
I guess
Mask cult.
it's kind
He
of
has
a cult.
followers, but there's not like
Yeah.
it's such a small group. I don't even know if I'd call it a cult.
Uh-huh.
I think I could do a reboot of Saw that's very lore heavy
Yeah.
and would really interest people. I
Do
think that would be my one thing. Like I don't really write anymore. But if I was going to reboot a franchise myself, that's the one I'd choose.
That would be the one, really.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
It'd be
the
fun
only
to
one
make.
I could make better.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem I have with that is like I always want them to be better than they actually end up being. Like at least the ones I saw, like I didn't mind them, but none of them blew me away as much as like I thought they were going to.
Yeah, same. But we had
Disagree.
fun covering it.
They're
Traps
all
are
better than the
cool.
last.
I think all the traps are cool, but yeah, maybe I'm just not into the story
You know, like
drama.
Have
John
you
Kramer.
seen Trap, the Shyamalan film?
No, but I want to see that. Like it sounds pretty fucking crazy.
This is the best movie of the year. Some
Shut
some are
up.
saying. Some are saying that.
Some are saying.
I don't want to say who, but some are saying that.
Oh my god. All right, let's wrap up. Guys, everybody check out the new Whale Fall record. V. Is it the 5th record?
It's
that
our
why
fifth
it's called that?
record.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, it's available for sale on our Bandcamp, probably through our website, whalefall.com. I believe we still have the domain, but otherwise just look us up on Bandcamp. We have digital and then pre-orders for the vinyl, and everything's for like all of our albums are for free on YouTube if you just want to check us out, like no obligation. We've got some pretty neat music, and then
Yeah.
and one thing I
But
gotta
this
say,
is I think the best I've heard.
well,
Wow.
I take a little extra pride in this one because I actually engineered this record.
Really?
holy shit.
Holy shit.
I
It sounds
work at-
great.
Yeah, I work over at part-time at a recording studio up in near Joshua Tree where I live now, and called Gato's Trail. And besides like the owner Dan Joe Wright helping like with a little bit of the setup, I engineered the whole record. And then we had the great Nicholas Vernhez mix the record. He's done like Silver
Malkmus.
Jews,
Yeah.
Malkmus, Deer Hunter, Animal Collective, like a pretty stacked list.
Wow.
He has a gold record for War on Drugs.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, great producer and mixer. We he lives up here as well, and I managed to have worked with him a few times, so I got him to work on our mix the records. So I take a lot of pride. I think it sounds pretty decent, and hopefully there'll be more engineering in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited about that. But man, I think this could be a breakthrough for Whale Fall. Really, really sounds
What's your favorite album
exciting.
that you've done of the 5?
Are the 5? I love them all for different reasons.
You got to pick though. If there was a gun pointed at your head that said pick your favorite one.
The latest record. This one is by far the best.
Oh, that's a good answer.
All right. All right. Yeah. All right. So anything else you want to plug?
Nope.
While
That's
you're
just
here?
it. Yeah. Or if anyone wants to do some recording, like there's lots of recording studios out here in Joshua Tree,
Oh,
and I
wow.
happen to work at. I work part time at about 3 of them and know a few more. So if anyone wants to record, slide into my DMs and I'll hook you up.
That's very cool.
All right. Aaron, it's great talking with you. You won't be on this episode, but next week we'll be covering Joker Folie à Deux.
You can come back. I don't know how much we'll have to talk
if you
about.
really want to.
It's a musical, I've heard, so maybe you'd be into that.
2-hour and 17-minute courtroom musical about the Joker. Looking forward to that, gang. So come on back for that.
I want to say,
Patreon. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, but I haven't pulled up the Patreon though.
Oh, and you should promote the thing with the YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We just hit over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So under this video, if you want to pick a franchise, just comment whether it's like a period or like a number one or your name, whatever. I'm gonna go through and just randomly pick one of those comments, and you can decide what franchise we do. Probably not next, but at some point. Whether it's one person that comments, 2, 3, I don't care. Comment, and you can have a chance to pick a franchise. So there you go.
All right, yeah. So comment on this video. And
comment. I have one comment. It doesn't matter actually. My thing said thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. That's what I asked for. And then Nolan said, finally, my boys are covering the Cat in the Hat cinematic universe.
Oh my god, yeah. Thing 1, thing 2. That's good.
Very funny.
And we'll be back with the Patreon later this week with Big Brother 26. And
Buffy finishing season
finishing
6.
up season 6. Yeah,
you ever see Buffy, Aaron?
Or
Angel?
I started watching selected episodes because of actually Dan's recommendation. Like I completely wrote that show off, and then like Dan's like, you gotta see Hush. Like, and there were a couple other ones that you recommended
Which
that like
probably
turned me around, and I was like, oh, this is actually a good show. And then I kind of dipped in and out of it, but like I would have never watched it otherwise without Dan's recommendation. And
Hey,
better
spread the word.
A lot better than I thought.
Yeah,
very cool. You check out Angel. Angel gets even better than Buffy at a certain point, starting season 3.
That's another thing Alex Elajian used to make fun of me for saying.
That Buffy got better than Angel?
He would say, when he would do an impression of me, he would say, my favorite show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but my favorite season of any show is Angel season 4.
Well, I think you're right. At some point, Angel gets better than Buffy.
Yeah.
It might bounce back. I don't know.
We'll see. All right. So that's all coming up. And I hope they sing some fun songs in the Joker. Thanks for coming on the show, Aaron.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We'd love to have you back.
It was so nice to meet you, Aaron. Honestly, you're the first one of Daniel's friends that I've ever known, and it's been a pleasure. You're like
so
cooler
nice.
than I thought you'd be.
Yeah. You're so nice, Aaron, that I feel like it makes Logan like me more.
It does actually.
I'm
honestly.
an asshole.
Yeah, Aaron's cool. I expected all your friends to be like jerks or something.
I'll try harder next time.
But I feel like if Aaron hosted the franchise with Henry and Henry left and I was doing this with Aaron, I feel like it'd be going
It'd be a more pleasurable experience for you.
That's not what I'm saying. I just think it would be fine. Like I like Aaron's cool.
All right, great. Could we put a Whale Fall song at the end of this?
Which one?
I don't know. Like something
he said they're on YouTube,
record.
so I can
pick something from the new record and we'll put it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the
Is that
show.
all
And
right?
then, yeah.
All right, so here, listen to this. Just check it out.